Yeah, good morning and happy Monday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And this has been a busy sports weekend, kind of unexpectedly. A lot of headlines being made in college hoops, obviously, as we're winding down the regular season in women's college hoops with a record falling. Also, Padres, we are steamrolling toward the goal, which is heading to Seoul, South Korea, that is.
Nicely done.
Yeah, well, didn't mean to rhyme. But
you didn't mean to do that?
No.
You're just that good.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. I did want to say myself. Somebody else said, you ooped it. I dunked it. Good morning. How you doing, buddy? How was your weekend?
It was fantastic. It was great. Yeah, I kind of sat around and did nothing.
That is the perfect.
God, it was weird.
Perfect weekend.
Boo.
Fletch, what did you do?
He didn't go to the Chris Stapleton concert.
No.
Oh, that's right.
No,
I completely forgot. Both of you were expected to go.
I went.
Yeah, I didn't.
You bailed.
I bailed because it was raining at my house, and I went, do I want to be out there if it does rain?
Not a single drop of rain.
Yeah, but it was cold.
It was cold.
Yeah, dude. And actually, gosh, I hate myself. I really do sometimes. I hate myself. So we have a washer and dryer that we have to walk out our back door to get to. It's in this little hutch in the yard, almost like it's a half garage. Think of it that way, but it's open.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk under this awning to get laundry out. And I went out there barefoot. I'm like, ooh, it's quite raw out. I should have put on my slippers.
So that was me. As I start doing the math, I'm like, wait a minute. Show starts at 7:30. There's 2 openers. It's not going to go on till 9. Going to be asleep by 9:15.
I'm going to be shivering.
Yeah, I'm going to be. You know what? Maybe I'll bow out. Maybe I'll bow out of this one.
You bow out. You go to Stapleton on Saturday. How was it, Fletch?
He was awesome. The opening song was White Horses, which is just heavy guitar. Yeah. And just the opening song of that act, it could have ended right there and I'd have been fine.
My share of white horses.
Yep, different songs. You combined a couple. Okay. But I'll say the coolest thing he did was like halfway through the concert, maybe in the second half of the concert, he started like combining 4 or 5 different songs from different eras. And Freebird was the opening to that. Oh, wow. And it was badass. But that place was rocking. Petco Park was fuller than I've ever seen it. And dude, the energy there was awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
It's
except I saw Caleb right away and just flipped him off immediately.
Yeah, I did. I got several text messages that Ben was being a little rude out there to my son.
Just to Caleb.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, also to us though, because we did also receive a photo of you, I believe, at the Naughty Barrel flipping us off.
Well, that was because Dom was having me do it for long ball.
Okay.
Dom, sales guy. Dom.
Yeah. So like he wanted to flip the guys off.
Exactly.
Okay.
That was more Dominic Giamacarena's idea.
Yeah.
Man.
He's an awful man. We've always said that.
Now, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Big Bear Bald Eagles.
Yeah. I had Bald Eagle Cam on in the newsroom. I forced Kogo News to put it on there, like rotating. They go to live cams. Yeah. I was like, you better put like Big Bear Bald Eagle Watch up there.
It was a windy weekend.
Oh my goodness,
man, it was scary. But guess what? Pip watch about 1:53 p.m. yesterday. A little crack in one of the eggs. We may see a little eagle hatchling today, folks.
You said that on Friday.
No, we were just on Pip watch. We're just on Pip watch, now we have a Pip.
I mean, technically it's not because we haven't seen the eagle beak.
Eaglet
beak, but we're close. We're like right there.
There's a little crickety crack right there.
I'll tell you, this is exciting stuff.
It really is.
We will be giving you updates on the eaglet.
God.
Oh yeah. We
have the technology to put it up on screen.
Nest Cam 1.
Yeah.
We have Nest Cam 1. It's fired up. So if you want updates, live updates on Lake Big Bear Eagle Watch, we'll have them for you until 9.
And then Colin Coward, I think, is going to go 100% Eagle Watch.
Well, yeah, he preempted most of his show's content. I mean, there was the fastest 40 ever ran. Right. There's an update with LeBron James and Bronny Jr., actually, more specifically.
And speaking of Eagle Watch, coming up a little later in the show, we may have an update on a particular eagle.
Oh, yeah. There's so many things happening. Like I said, this is a really busy sports weekend. It's tough to pick one angle to go to. But I guess since we're here in San Diego anyways, and we're getting ready. The hatches are being battened down for opening day out here in San Diego. We already got invited to an opening day Padres party. You know, it's not thrown by the party, but the Padres, but the party is thrown by the people here at iHeartMedia. Like we're excited. This is happening, guys. But here's the strange thing. It's happening so fast that it feels like the Padres forgot to do something that most teams start to do, which is, hey, we start maybe we just start trimming the hard edges off this piece of paper and we start unveiling the shape of things here. They still have like 50 guys out there at spring training who are still vying for the many open and available positions.
Well, what's crazy is they literally just cut that down to 50 yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a lot.
Okay. Oh, it's a lot, but that's where I get a little bit concerned because you still don't know from that big of a pool of players. You still don't know where you're headed here.
No.
For opening day.
No, you don't. And I don't feel, look, here's the thing. I don't feel like this is necessarily condemning them for the season, but I do know this. I know that if I'm a star on this roster, like if I'm Manny Machado or Fernando Tatis Jr. or Yu Darvish, and I'm being honest with my family, when, they come out to visit me at spring training in Arizona and we go out for dinner, we sit down at the table in the rental house we're renting and they go, so how's work? And, I'm just taking a scoop of the mashed potatoes with the pot roast and I go, works good. And then they go, yeah, like what's going on? How's I guess how's the roster going or whatever? I mean, whatever you guys do out there. Be like, not good. Like that's the part of it we still don't know.
But here's where I lie on this I don't really care. I mean, you get the best players possible out there on the field and have your full team, and they're going to have to. I mean, at some point, they have to have a full team out there. But, man, you played for Bill Belichick, Rich. I mean, the one of the things that I heard he always said was just do your job.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who is in whatever position. Just get out there and do your damn job. And this thing works.
Yeah. You really need and want the highest paid players on your team to do their job the best. But outside of that, if everybody who has a position on the team does their job, then things fall into place, generally speaking. It doesn't matter where they came from, how they got to the team. In New England, you would have undrafted free agents become huge role players on a team in the return game as a third wide receiver, as a nickel linebacker, things like that, where all of a sudden you have a role. And as long as you do your job, you can have success. You could go win Super Bowls. Same for the Padres.
I tried really hard to think back to last year about like biggest question marks going into the season. And the biggest question mark was Fernando Tatis Jr. When he came back, what was he going to look like? Well, he came back and it was kind of a down year for Fernando. But then the next biggest question marks were Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha, the back half of the rotation. Everyone was like, well, who the hell are these guys? First of all, Waka Waka is a funny name. That's kind of fun. How are they going to perform? They were both excellent for the majority of last season. You look at this year and you just feel like there's 20 different question marks heading into the season. The outfield spots, the starting rotation, who's going to get the bulk of the time at catcher, how's the infield going to look with Bogarts moving over, Fernando Tatis Jr. for a full season, what's that going to look like? Manny Machado's health, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish's health. Like there's so much up in the air here as we head into the year, and maybe that's a good thing because last year there were no question marks and it didn't work out.
Coming up on the show today, we have a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. That's going to be a July 29th show at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and so many more. Tickets and info at livenation.com.
I'm going to pass out.
Also, we have a pair of tickets to Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Tradition returns as authentic Irish celebration takes over the streets of the gas lamp. That's right, March 16th, San Diego Shamrock.com for more tickets and info. I'm pumped about both of those. I'm also pumped to get into this story that's coming out of USC with Bronny James. Wait till you see what his dad had to say. It makes zero sense. For anybody who's catching up on the fly.
Spoiler alert.
LeBron James, and it didn't make any sense. We'll get to that story in a second, but to just put a bow tie on this whole Padres situation, Fletch, I really do think you kind of nailed it. Travis, you too. The idea of TD, like, do your job That's the only thing that matters. If everybody goes out there and does their job, just like the Diamondbacks did last year with low expectations.
See Arizona for details.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, did they have an amazing regular season? No, but they made it to the NLCS, for crying out loud. There's a lot of teams, including the Padres, who would have traded places with the Diamondbacks last year.
They didn't just make it to the NLCS. They made it to the freaking World Series.
Well, and when you look at that
Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
No, they didn't make it to the World Series.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
The D-backs. Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. Did they beat
Wait, did they?
They didn't win the
They
World
didn't win,
Series,
but they were
lost
there.
to the
Oh,
Rangers.
gosh, yeah,
you're
they were
right.
there.
Why do I keep forgetting that they were the team that faced the Rangers?
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
they got down to the end. Whew, man, oh man. And that was a team that, like you said, Rich, didn't have a great regular season, but as they got into the postseason, they were hot and they gelled and everybody was happy and everybody was throwing high fives.
Everybody did their job.
Yeah.
And then you look at what you just said, Fletch, and it's accurate. I mean, we went into last offseason, or I should say into last year's regular season with the Padres, and we're like, cool, man, cool beans. What's that?
Time to coast.
We got ourselves a Xander Bogaerts. Don't even know what that is. Oh, we won a couple of World Series. We're planning on winning a couple ourselves. Sweet deal, bros. Let's party. It did not work.
I remember
I
saying
repeat,
the words at the beginning of last season because TD was freaking out after 2 straight losses to start the year, and I was like,
which is warranted now. I'm just saying. When you look
no,
back,
you're right.
Okay,
But when you were freaking out,
right.
I remember sitting right here being like, TD, this team can get into the postseason this year with their eyes closed. Like, this is going to be the most boring regular season ever.
To out myself, I was saying that when things were going really wrong.
Yeah.
I was still saying, guys. Right now, they're playing historically bad baseball.
No way they can keep it up.
I kept saying it.
it wasn't just you. We had mathematicians who were saying it's impossible for this to continue.
Dan Zimborski of Fangraphs, I blame him for my myopic optimism. I was like, there's no way that the Padres could screw this up. Well, Dan, you were wrong. And therefore I was wrong. Anyways, we got a quick halftime, and then we're going to get to this very weird story with LeBron James and his son. Well, what I have for you is out of the NFL, left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, Tyron Smith, now unlikely to play his 14th season in Dallas after initial contract discussions have gone sour. Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy ran an official 40-yard dash time of 4.21 seconds. That's a combine record right there. Bengals QB Joe Burrow, who's recovering from a surgery that was the result of a torn wrist ligament in his throwing hand, has set mid-May as his return window to be cleared for full contact. In the NBA, the Celtics routed the Warriors in their 11th straight win last night. That's 140-88, 140-88. The LA Clippers edged out the Timberwolves in Minnesota, 89-88. The Western Conference 1 seed OKC Thunder beat the Suns 118-110. And in college hoops, we've got the San Diego State men's hoops team with a big one tomorrow night. That's going to be an 8 p.m. tip right here on your home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. They take on UNLV. We'll stay in college hoops with this next story. USC freshman Bronny James. He's expected to weigh his entry into the 2024 NBA draft based on a specific team, not on a draft position. Obviously, he's averaging 5 points a game. I mean, so it's going to take specific team interest and not draft position to lure him out of the college ranks, because there are literally hundreds. College basketball is littered with players who are averaging 5 points a game.
Right.
LeBron James Jr., LeBron James's son, is not a special college basketball player. Not yet. Not saying he couldn't be if he continues on. But this is from his agent, Rich Paul, who is the CEO of Clutch Sports. Rich Paul is also a childhood friend of his dad, LeBron James. And LeBron James recently has been cited as saying, I want my son to stand on his own as a man. Okay, so that's the weird thing to say.
Okay.
When you've literally designed your kid's future and it feels like he's on like the trail boat in your wake, following you every step of the way.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I find this to be very interesting because I feel like if there's not interest from the Lakers, would there ever be interest from the Lakers? Because now I feel like that would put so much weight on LeBron James. LeBron James would have to completely ball out, which not saying he can't, but he would to keep the LeBron James hype there in Los Angeles. Because do you see Bronny James having a turnaround year next year?
No.
And let's be very honest about like USC. It's not a good basketball team right now. They're like 96th in the net rankings, and Bronny James is not making an impact there. Now he is a freshman. I'm not gonna pass judgment on a 19-year-old right now in college basketball.
Just do it. Go ahead and do it.
College basketball is really hard, is what I'm saying. And getting from college basketball to the NBA is the narrowest of windows of all the three major sports that we follow and love so much. Like it's not easier, but it is easier to get into Major League Baseball and the NFL because of the fact that there's so many people on those rosters. There's like 11 people on NBA rosters. So the cut down from college to the pros is so intense that it's tough for anyone to make it to the NBA. The only way Bronny James Jr. gets there, if he continues at this pace that he's on right now, is if LeBron does something that he is no longer standing as a man on his own.
Correct. That is exactly how I feel. So LeBron James would have to make something happen for him, which I mean, Rich, your dad. I mean, I'm a dad. I would do it. I would do whatever I could to better the future for my son, especially if Bronny James doesn't have his dad, LeBron James. We're not talking about Bronny James right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fact of the matter. So Bronny James, who we're literally saying could be drafted by the Lakers, would not be in any conversation at all if it wasn't for his dad.
Yeah, when you look at LeBron James, what he's done for the NBA, it almost allows him the rope to make poor decisions or potentially decisions that are controversial that will lead to positive outcomes. Like, for example, if LeBron James is a Laker today, and he said, I won't be a Laker tomorrow unless ... And he pushes the buttons to get his son onto the team, because the quote from LeBron, which is interesting, is development is the most important thing. He said, I don't value draft lottery as much as I do landing in the right spot to develop correctly. I'm paraphrasing for LeBron, but that was at the heart of what he said about all this. And the fact of the matter is that is great to hear. But would it be the same for every player?
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you be interested, LeBron James, to scoop up a shooting guard from USC who's scoring 5 points a game and helping him develop if he wasn't your son? And the answer is no.
Right. But also, I mean, if you take the matter of LeBron trying to push his son being drafted, just the fact that he is LeBron James' son gives him credit with any team, because you will sell tickets, you will sell jerseys, you will sell concessions to all these games because people will come out because it's LeBron James' son. By the way, whatever team LeBron James' son plays for, if LeBron shows up to the games, people will go there because LeBron is showing up to the games.
Exactly. Well, and that's look, this is hand washing hand stuff. I understand that it's very easy to fall into the trap of feeling like, well, this is just plain old nepotism and LeBron James is going to get his way because of who he is and he's going to hold the Lakers hostage. Or who knows, maybe LeBron James is really upset with the way his son is being coached at USC, and he feels like under his watchful eye with some of the assistants over with the LA Lakers, like he can turn him into a real professional basketball player, maybe playing for their G League team. Developing as a professional instead of a college athlete, where, look, Bronny James is already making millions and millions of dollars on NIL. His father is already a billionaire, for crying out loud. Like, he doesn't need to worry about his financial future at all. If he never graduates college, by the way, his dad didn't either, it's not going to matter much. So the path to success for Bronny Jr. looks a lot different than it does for most kids going to USC or going anywhere and playing college basketball. He doesn't need to worry about much. So I get that a lot of people are upset about this. And I understand that LeBron James is kind of being hypocritical here. But like you said, TD, like I would, and Fletch, you'll learn this. I know you're a dog dad right now with Brock, but as soon as you meet your son, and I'm not saying like Brock could maybe air butt it,
No,
end up in
but
college
he needs to
basketball?
earn everything on his own. I'm not sending his resume to any friends and be like, look, he's kind of a mess up, and he likes his pop cups way too much. But
hang on a second. If your Mexican street dog Brock ends up having like a wicked jump shot, your ties to the Aztecs, you're telling me that dog wouldn't be playing for San Diego State?
here's if he earns it, he can go. All right, but he needs to
below.
learn defense first.
Okay. You're just like LeBron. Are we going to tweet that out?
Maybe.
We know that's not really how it is.
He's got to lay off the puppuccinos, though. I mean, the guy is just like an addict for him. That's all he wants. We get in the car and he's like looking at me like, Dad, what, Starbucks, let's go.
He's like, your dog's like Luka Doncic. Every offseason he gets fat and he has to work it off for the beginning of the year. I'm sorry, it was just all the puppuccinos.
When you went and picked up Brock, was he the last dog there?
No, God, no. He was the first of his family to get adopted.
I didn't know if he was
his sisters
Mr.
are
Pup relevant.
butt ugly, dude.
That's
not bad.
Mr. Pup relevant. No lap. No lap.
No,
detected.
solid.
Woo! No lap detected.
I dodged it.
So, not that I want to give any credence to the fact that this is on TV in the studio right now, but the Eagle Cam is making me a little nervous.
Why?
Because that tree shakes a lot.
Oh, it's windy up there, man. He's way up there.
And apparently,
or she, I don't know which one it is.
Same nest every year. Like I had no idea, but they return to the same exact nesting site every single year. I learned a lot over the past couple days. So we will give you.
You know what I learned in the last couple seconds? Eagles yawn, and it is adorable.
Wow.
Well, she may have just been yelling, like,
yeah. We have no volume. It could have been. Can you imagine? I thought they just kind of made that whistling screech. No, sometimes it just flat out scream.
Yeah. I think if I were an eagle, I think I'd choose someplace warmer.
Yeah.
There's snow everywhere.
In the nest, there's currently snow. Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to get to the fastest man ever. But before we do, we've got breaking news out of the NFL. A huge contract has been signed. That's next.
Breaking news out of the NFL coming up next.
This update is presented by PreventWildfireCA.org. We're going to start off here with the Padres. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit his first homer of the spring yesterday in the 12-4 win over the Mariners. College Hoops. Aztecs had the weekend off. They enter the final week of the regular season tied for third in the Mountain West. We got UNLV tomorrow night on the road, then Boise State on Friday at home for senior night. Sticking with College Hoops, Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark passing Pistol Pete Maravich as the all-time Division I scoring leader, men's or women's basketball. And in the NBA, Celtics get their third 50-plus point win of the season. They smashed the Warriors 140-88. And the Bucks, the Tampa Bay Bucks, have made a move in the NFL. We will get to that here. Why fight fire with fire here in California? We're proactive. Prescribed fire helps prevent larger wildfires, keeping forests healthier and communities safer. Learn more at PreventWildfireCA.org.
Yeah, buddy. I like this one too. Golly, man. Royalty-free music does not disappoint. Big Rich TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Couple of giveaways today. A pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival, July 29th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp's going to be there sucking on a chili dog right outside the Tasty Freeze, and a whole lot more there.
Is that something that happens?
You don't know the song Jack and Diane?
Nope.
What? Sucking on a chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze. Diane sitting on Jackie's lap, got his hands between his knees. You know, how do you not know this? We should go find a Tasty Freeze and take a picture of us sucking on chili dogs. LiveNation.com if you'd like to go buy tickets or just keep listening for your chance to win those. And we also have a pair of tickets to Shamrock, St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Tradition returns as an authentic Irish celebration takes over the streets of San Diego's historic gas lamp district on March 16th. SanDiegoShamrock.com for tickets and info. Rich Ornberger walking back in the studio with a bottle of booze, which is totally fine.
So Rich wasn't here for any of that. Can you do no context, just what you just said?
Okay,
and see if he knows the reference
about John Mellencamp.
No, you just ruined it.
Oh, okay. Sucking on a chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze.
Oh yeah. That's backseat of going too fast.
That's the one.
Sucking on a chili dog outside of Tasty Freeze. I'm pretty sure it's talking about oral sex.
Jack and Diane. It's Jack and Diane. I said that we should. So John Mellencamp going to be at the Outlaw Music Festival. So I said, for a promotion, we should go find a Tasty Freeze and take a picture of us all sucking on chili dogs.
This is taking such a dark turn.
It all went right over my head.
Yeah. Well, it's a good song.
I thought CD was just talking about not actual chili dogs.
Well,
what else would I be talking about? Chili dogs.
Dude,
Look,
first of all, I love chili dogs.
Me too. The nest needs some repair, I think.
Yeah.
Big Bear
Eagle Nest Watch.
Right.
And we have some pruning going on over here. Major
development in the nest. But yes, chili dogs are fantastic.
So we promised breaking news, and we deliver breaking news as Mike Evans, Buccaneers receiver, who was looking to test free agency. There were reports that this might be his last season with it. We may have seen the last of Mike Evans with the Buccaneers. I was talking about this with friends over the weekend. I'm like, there is no way he leaves. I mean, he has had opportunities in the past. He's always re-upped with the Bucs. He's done it again. 2-year contract, $52 million.
35 of that guaranteed. That's what his agent Derek Gilmore told ESPN. He used the quote "Buck for life." So maybe this 2-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Mike Evans' swan song. Now, my question to you guys, and I wonder if you have the same reaction I did. I'm a little bummed. Like, I kind of wanted to see Mike Evans go to a team that has Super Bowl aspirations next year. I don't know if the Bucs is that, because Baker Mayfield probably going to be their quarterback again. How far can Baker really take you? But I was thinking like Mike Evans with the, God forbid, Chiefs would be a lot of fun. Mike Evans with the, name another team that is going to get close to a Super Bowl this year. I thought that would have been a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what's a lot of fun. $52 million.
Yep. I love that money. Yeah, I'll tell you, that to me is the whole story. So Mike
he's
Evans,
the guy, he's never not hit like a contract incentive because he's every year over 1,000 yards, a bunch of catches.
And you think about it, like, I mean, he's already checked a major box. Tom Brady came down to Tampa Bay and they won a Super Bowl. And so really, there's a lot of receivers in his situation. If they made it to the postseason, maybe a championship game or a couple where they were like, gosh, I was this close to having my bite at the apple. I just want to play in a Super Bowl, just want to get to the final game, let alone win one. My goodness. But he's done it all. So he could either go chase legacy and probably take a salary haircut. Where is he most valuable in terms of what team will pay him the most money? There's no question in my mind. It's Tampa Bay.
Well, also, if you're looking at Tampa Bay and you're looking to hit these contract incentives, pretty good place to be when you're the guy. Yeah. Like, hey, we got to get it to Mike Evans.
Yeah. And whoever's the quarterback next year, as Baker Mayfield is looking for a contract somewhere in the league, I'm sure they're going to be throwing number 13 the football an awful lot, because if I was brand new to the team and I was a quarterback, I would try to make real close friends with Mike Evans immediately, because he seems to be like the king of that locker room, and he's been the one constant through all the changes.
So when you readjust now, wide receiver free agent potentials, like I know there's a lot of talk that Justin Jefferson might be out in Minnesota. There's talk that Brandon Ayuk might be out in San Francisco. Who are the people
Gabe Davis?
Gabe Davis. Yeah. Who would you be targeting here as we get closer? It's a free agency beginning, but as players start to force their way out of teams.
I would say Jefferson would probably be, if you're looking and you have the capital to afford trade and also sign, Jefferson is one of those names. Like I look to, for example, the Houston Texans, who nailed it on their first and second pick in the draft last year with both CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. Both had successful seasons on the offense and defense. Then you start thinking, like, how do we bolster this roster? Do they need help? Is it an absolute like glaring need at receiver? I wouldn't say it's a glaring need, but he made chicken salad with chicken scratch last year. I mean, there were unknowns having phenomenal years. What's his name? Trey Brown,
Nico Collins,
Tank
Davis,
Tank Dell. who was expected to have a good year, but I mean, he played over. CJ Stroud made these guys look great. So if you can trade some of the value or some of your draft value to get a Jefferson, and they have cap space, they're top 10 in cap space. To me, like if I'm the Texans, for example, like that's a guy.
Saquon said he wants to go to the Texans. So like the Texans could potentially be adding a super team here. And then you look at Minnesota. If Justin Jefferson does in fact leave, I saw a report on ESPN this morning that Kirk Cousins is probably not going to be a Viking next year either. Is Minnesota blowing it up?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel that way. It does feel that way.
Right after the head coach got an A+ in whatever those player polls are, they're going to blow up the whole team.
Well, you look at your team right now, and is Kirk Cousins the long-term answer at quarterback? No. And and you know that you have the right head coach. Kevin O'Connell seems to have what it takes. So find yourself a young quarterback for him to sculpt, like he helped Jared Goff while he was with the LA Rams, like he's helped Kirk Cousins play some of his best seasons in recent memory. Get him a quarterback that's worthy of an investment and go and chase down that division, because there's no Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay anymore. And I know that they reloaded with Jordan Love. We'll see how that turns out. And the Lions are good all of a sudden again, but go out there and chase this thing down with a fresh face at quarterback.
Well, you also have arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL who doesn't appear to want to be there.
That's also true.
And that's not good. Not good for team morale.
But I like Jefferson. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Who else is available out there?
Odell Beckham Jr. is always going to be available.
Yeah.
He'll wait till like a quarter of the way through the year and say, "Ooh, I like those guys,"
which almost worked for him. Almost.
Let's see. KJ Osborne, Tyler Boyd. You mentioned Gabe Davis as a free agent available. Darnell Mooney with the Chicago Bears, who had a down year, 31 receptions, 414, 1 touchdown. Marquise Brown with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see. Calvin Ridley. Let's see. Ridley didn't play in 2022, blah, blah, blah. Season back. Okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's a possibility. People could check on him. Pittman Jr. with the Colts. Although the Colts, I feel like they're going to try to lock down people that they have for Anthony Richardson. He's a young quarterback.
Yeah,
he looked like he had a future.
The Colts feel like they at least have a plan to have some sort of solid team in the near future here.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Vikings, in my personal opinion, not a great plan headed there. The Las Vegas Raiders don't feel like there's a plan that's real solid there.
Although Tom Telesco, brand new GM with the Raiders, says Devontae Adams isn't going anywhere. He's a Raider, so they're going to hold on to him. They're not trading him away. T. Higgins is at the top of the list. Have we got news on him? Is he staying in Cincinnati, or is that still up in the air?
Talking about franchise tagging him, right? But then they didn't. Hang on.
Yeah.
Pause. Timeout.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We'll talk about the Niners thing, and I'll find out T. Higgins.
The Niners thing?
Signaling 30 seconds to the scorer's table. Yeah, quick update on the San Francisco 49ers. If you can't beat them, join them. Steve Spagnuolo and that defense did a number on Brock Purdy.
Forgot I put that in there.
Yeah, defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Did a nice job sculpting a game plan against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Well, guess what? Now he's a 49er defensive coordinator. Like, that happened fast.
Well, I don't think they got him yet, did they?
Is it?
No, Spagnuolo re-signed with the Chiefs.
Yeah, re-signed with the Chiefs, but they were trying to steal him.
Oh, I thought that headline. I'm like, why wasn't this breaking news?
No. They were trying to take him, and he ended up not going over. But yeah, as soon as they lost, they went, "Hey, want to come work for us?"
Do you see what the Niners did do at a defensive coordinator now? So they hired Nick Sorensen, but his assistant defensive coordinator is none other than Brandon Staley.
Okay.
I don't love that.
Hang on. He's off that coaching tree, though. And look, you scramble to get coaches with experience in this league. And San Francisco 49er players, outside of those who played with him in Los Angeles, they don't necessarily know how bad things, like a lot of people on the outside, fans of the game, go, I mean, this guy stinks. But the truth is, when you get into the locker room and a guy is in the appropriate role, sometimes it really works. You can't argue the success that Rams defense had when Staley was at the helm as a defensive coordinator. And we've said this many times. Some coaches, whether they're offensive or defensive coordinators, they work when they're in that role. When they're head coaches, they're a mess. And I think that's what happened with Staley. He couldn't keep the main thing, which was have a good defense, and then maybe the rest will fall in place with Justin Herbert. And as a result, it all fell apart for him as a head coach.
So Nick Sorensen, who is the DC, he was inside hire. It was much like Robert Saleh and D'Amico Ryans, where it was promoting from within. But bringing over Brandon Staley, Niners fans are pissed. They're livid. The fact that Brandon Staley, after the disaster that he was with the Los Angeles Chargers, is now part of the Niners coaching staff. Yeah. And I don't know how to feel about it yet. I do think that there's some smartness to Brandon Staley. We just didn't see it on the field.
I'll give you an example. So Matt Nagy was a pretty disastrous head coach for the Chicago Bears. Did not last long. Well, guess what? Matt Nagy just won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs as the offensive coordinator. Like that's how this league works. Sometimes that head coach, it doesn't work out. Josh McDaniels, his first run at it as a Denver Broncos head coach went really bad. Then he went back to New England as an offensive coordinator, and guess what? He won 2 more Super Bowls, or actually 3 more with the New England Patriots.
And then it looked so good that the Raiders said, you should come over here.
And then he did it again.
It's literally the exact same thing.
Doesn't work.
So we had the breaking news about Mike Evans. We also have more breaking news. This is a little more show related, but SDFatLoss.com is offering a new promotion.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you are a little nervous about signing up for SDFatLoss.com, if you've heard about our story and said, yeah, but can I really replicate that? I mean, those guys are awesome. No worries. If you don't lose any weight within the first 10 days, you get your money back. 100% guarantee.
Everybody's saying it.
God, I mean, look at them. They're obviously professionals.
In realism, like the 3 of us could do it. I promise you can as well. Within the first 35 days or so, I had lost 28 plus pounds. And it was just insane how quickly the success was, just building upon building it with SDFatLoss.com. But if you sign up and you don't lose any weight in the first 10 days, you will get your money back. If you're thinking about trying the latest fad medication, what you might not realize is that you're going to lose weight, but it's just from temporarily suppressing your hunger. As soon as you get off the drug or the fad diet, your frustration and your weight could come right back to haunt you. Not with SDFatLoss.com. They have the secret for quick weight loss and, most importantly, lasting weight loss. The 3 of us lived it. The 3 of us did it. The 3 of us had huge success with it. And you can too. If you stick to the program, SDFatLoss.com will build you that roadmap for long-term weight loss success. So go sign up today, get a free consultation with Wayne and Chloe. And remember, 10-day money-back guarantee if you don't lose any weight within the first 10 days, which honestly I feel like is kind of impossible. If you stick to the program, you're going to lose weight.
You're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost so much weight within the first 10 days that I actually messaged them and said, is this okay? Am I going to be all right? Trust me, it's going to work for you. If
we've never laid out what the first 2 days are like with SDFatLoss.com, but the first 2 days are freaking awesome. I promise you that.
Yeah. It's a good time.
It's a real good time. Okay, that's SDFatLoss.com, SDFatLoss.com. Speaking of fast, like losing weight fast, how about running as fast as, well, frankly, faster than anyone? That's next. All right, coming up next, huge developments at Lake Big Bear. We'll explain also, is he the fastest, but will it translate? That's next.
Hang into
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. We are on Lake Big Bear Eagle Watch. This has been fascinating. We're ruminating over the events that will come after this bird gives birth. I guess they already gave birth. They're waiting for him to hatch. We need to see some eaglets here.
Yeah, come on, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, so
let's rock and roll.
We got an American bald eagle up on the screen with a beautiful sunrise, just cascading off of the lake down below.
I don't know if it's Mama Eagle or Papa Eagle that stood up, moved the eggs around. I thought maybe something was happening.
Yeah.
They did another adjustment to the nest, sat back down.
Speaking,
How many people watch this?
Millions.
oh yeah,
I wonder if I could see.
yeah. Check out how many people are live streaming right now.
You mean watching it currently?
Yeah, that would be cool to see if there's a number.
Come on, give us something.
Let's see. No stream. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
All right, we'll never know.
Speaking of eagles, there's another eagle who has a very important announcement coming up. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. But first, the NFL Combine was headlined on Saturday by Xavier Worthy, a Texas wide receiver, a slight frame guy. He's like, what, a 5'10", 165, something like that is his measurables. But he can flat out fly, man. He ran a 4.21, a combine record on the 40-yard dash. So now, all of a sudden, people are looking at the big board and saying, yeah, he was like a top 10 wide receiver. Did he just increase his draft stock at all?
Does 40 times do that for people? Like, how much stock is really taken into place? Because this was fast. And you watch the video and you're like, oh, he fast. And especially, they did a side-by-side with him and Patrick Mahomes, which was very funny because Mahomes historically slow in his 40 time. And that's all very cool.
Mahomes is like a 4.8, something like that.
I don't know. It was much slower than this guy. That's what I know.
I mean, blazing fast.
Yeah, right.
But when you look at this and do draft analysis people for every team, do they actually take into account how much does a 40 weigh?
Well, it weighs something, and I'll tell you why. Because what an owner will do is they'll say like, hey, what about that guy that we saw? And then like, look, because owners own these teams and they want to make sure that they're having conversation with their personnel people, and the general manager then has to answer questions like, yeah, well, we're looking into him. Trust me, we're going to do our due diligence. We'll take an extra close look. I'm very impressed by that speed. And it's like, okay, boss. So then what they do, because they're asked to by an owner or potentially somebody within the building who's impressed by this, is they go back and they look at the film. Now, the thing is, you go and you look at his statistics at Texas, and, he made no All-American teams. He's one of those guys who his stats don't really add up with the 40 times. So you say, well, what went wrong? Well, two things I'm not saying he's a bad wide receiver. He's not. But what's interesting about him is you would assume he would have like a lot of touchdowns because he would have these breakaway catches downfield. But speed, everybody's got speed.
Mhm.
Now, I understand like 4.21 is blazing fast, but think about a corner who's defending you in the Big 12 or the SEC. Like they're fast too. And that speed has to translate to the field. And how does it translate to the field? Well, with suddenness, the ability to change direction or stop on a dime so that you can influence a defensive back to play you out of your break. If a defensive back isn't worried because you're slow out of your break, that means he can run with you the whole way and flip his hips when you start, pattering your feet down to slow down to come out of your break. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe Worthy is really fast, but it doesn't have field speed because he can't change directions quickly.
That's my issue with the entire combine is like none of what actually happens at the combine really translates to football.
No.
Except maybe like when the offensive linemen are doing the like fast feet drills, going in and out. But even that, I'm like, okay, that's a big guy who's really athletic.
Right.
What does that mean when another big guy who's really or more athletic is pushing him?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly correct.
Put him in full gear, throw footballs at him. I want to see it happen.
Yeah.
Like,
And even then with
show me the goods, buddy.
with no defenders, like even still,
Yeah.
that's a hard, I agree with you.
And
Also,
the combine is meant to be sold. It's
Yeah.
meant to like get viewers and get clips like this that go viral so that DraftKings can have their spot like highlighted because, oh, look, Xavier, what's his name? Howard. What's his name? Worthy.
Look at the NFL, who they continue to troll Jackson Mahomes. Whew, good Lord. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the best all-around athlete in the NFL. I mean, everybody wants Patrick Mahomes, and you keep comparing him to Patrick Mahomes or these different athletes who are outrunning him because it's funny, and I get it, and Patrick Mahomes plays along. Oh, guys, no.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't
He
do it
was
anymore.
begging for it.
Oh, yeah, he loves
He's like,
it.
NFL Network, please don't use my 40 video.
Yeah, but here it is. Right.
But here it is. It's Patrick Mahomes in all of his glory getting roasted because they do those overlays where you see like this kid, Xavier Worthy, like just blowing the doors off of Patrick Mahomes. You're right. He is the most talented player at his position in the league. And actually, that's a perfect way to describe it. Patrick Mahomes isn't the fastest quarterback. Patrick Mahomes doesn't even throw as hard as Baker Mayfield, for example, or J.J. McCarthy, who threw 61 miles per hour at the combine.
Ooh.
Boy, he could spin it. He could spin that skin.
By the way, I don't know what to really compare that to as an average NFL watcher. When you go, he threw the ball 60 miles an hour, I'd be like, oh.
All it means really.
Don't throw it at me.
Yeah, that would hurt. Yeah. All it really means is like in cold weather or wet weather, like that ball's getting to where it needs to go.
I get it. I get it.
But even still, like guys with hose arms, they have bad accuracy sometimes. So it's all these things are great measurables. But the end product is being the greatest football player you can be. And for Xavier Worthy, I'll give you an example. Perfect example. Keenan Allen. He runs a 4.71. Keenan Allen just stacks up 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He catches over 100 balls a year. Why? Because he's an incredible route runner. It has nothing to do with how fast he is. 4.71 actually hurt his draft stock at his Cal Pro Day coming out of University of Cal.
Boys, we have more breaking news that we can get to on the other side, but I'll read you the second half of the headline. Most lucrative extension in baseball history in terms of annual average value has just been signed. We'll tell you what it is coming up next.
I love that. Also, I got to tell you guys about why all of a sudden in show breaks here at Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, I'm doing push-ups and
at least one
squat thrusts.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
You should see, you should see my glutes right now. I mean, I've got
glistening.
I mean, it's ridiculous. The calf pump that I'm rocking here is absolutely absurd.
Move over, Eddie Papani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw you, buddy. I'm the calf king now. Why? Thanks to the Man Zone. Woo! At Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, Dr. Roy David's got me covered with testosterone replacement therapy. If you're a man in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, this is a no-brainer. I'm telling you, a no-brainer. Your testosterone's going down. Whether you like it or not, that's how this works. As you age, your testosterone goes down. It's a part of the aging process, but you can optimize your health as a man. There are ways to reverse the signs of aging. Trust me when I tell you want to do this. If you're in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, you should go to the Man Zone annually. Book an appointment just to get your testosterone checked. Make sure you're in a healthy range. If you're not, they'll boost you up. That's what I did. I'm 37. So again, like I say 40s, 50s, 60s, but even if you're in your late 30s, like I'm actually 38. Jeez, I completely forgot about that. That snuck up on me quick.
It's like a revelation.
Yeah.
You're like, oh God.
2 years away from 40. What's that like? Not great. Unless you go to the man zone.
54 over here.
Well,
come on,
dude,
come on. Come on.
I'm going to take you to the man zone. I'm going to get you juiced up.
Finally I get the invite.
Yeah. And Fletch, too. Fletch is in his late 20s. He's been begging me to take him to the man zone. Look, testosterone replacement therapy, nobody's going to tell you this. Dirty little secret. It's a lot of fun. I'm telling you right now. You go in there, you get your test checked. It's super simple. It's a super comfortable place. It doesn't feel like a medical office. You go in there, they got beers in the fridge in the waiting room. They got a little bourbon maybe you could tipple while you're watching some sports on the big screen. And then you go in there, you talk to a board certified plastic surgeon. Dr. Roy David's incredible to work with. He'll get you checked out. His whole staff will take care of you. And then you'll be on your way to optimized male health. That's themanzone.com. That's where you start your journey. Remember that website, write it down, go to it if you're not driving right now, themanzone.com.
We're number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. Starting off with the Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. hits his first homer of spring over the weekend in a 12-4 win over the Mariners. College Hoops, Aztecs had the weekend off. They now enter the final week of their regular season, tied for third in the league. They got UNLV tomorrow on the road, then Boise State Friday at home for senior night. Sticking with college hoops, Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark setting another record, passing Pete Maravich as the all-time Division I scoring leader for men's and women's basketball. And in the NBA, Celtics get their third 50-point-plus win of the season. They smashed the Warriors 140-88, and Mike Evans is not going anywhere, signing a 2-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was set to hit free agency next week. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, happy Monday to those who celebrate. What a busy day we've had already, and a lot more fun to come. We haven't done any of our giveaways yet. We got Outlaw Music Festival coming to San Diego. You're going to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and more on us. A pair of tickets there. That's a show that's coming up over there at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater in July. Also, a pair of tickets to Shamrock's St. Patty's Day. That's downtown in the Gaslamp. Gaslamp gets taken over by St. Patty's Day celebrations March 16th. There's music. There's green beer. I promise many different types.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Fletch loves. And when I say love, when we bring up Shamrock, he's like, dude, we got to go this year.
Yes,
I think we should. Well, do you remember St. Patty's Day last year? Like, I don't think
studio.
Yeah, TD didn't leave the office until like 6.
Yeah,
we did it. We did it.
It was 3 hours to Irish, which you bowed out of a couple of the.
Of course.
What?
He's known on the show.
Yeah,
for
that's
this now.
come on. That's kind of my MO.
And I'm the current fastest potato peeler champion.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you are now. I'm still the reigning champ, and let's put it this way:
I could be dethroned in just a couple weeks.
I've been practicing. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say is I've been practicing. Okay, so we speaking of green, the Eagles out there in Philadelphia, they've got a big decision occurring later today. So Jason Kelce has anchored their offensive line for a long time. Jason Kelce obviously rose to recent fame. More so than whatever fame he had prior to this year, because him and his brother, the New Heights podcast, it has now become one of the most listened to sports podcasts in the world. And it's because of his brother's relationship with Taylor Swift, also their successes on the field.
And Jason Kelce is so likable. Yeah. I mean, he is so likable. And Travis Kelce is I mean, he's likable. He's a likable guy. It's just, I think we've had so much Travis Kelce forced on us that you go, I really like Jason.
See, Travis Kelce's in a little bit of trouble.
No, what happened?
Some pictures TMZ got of him after the Super Bowl dancing with like an 18-year-old model.
Interesting. But she was there, though.
Yeah, I know.
Taylor Swift was there.
I think it's a large part like Swifty's just getting a screen grab of something and going crazy. Yeah. It doesn't even look like that bad of a picture, but Swifties are going crazy.
Well, so listen, this is a part of it too, right? So Travis Kelce, everything is going to be absorbed through the lens of conjecture and context that others add to things. So, like, for example, like if somebody told me randomly, hey, did you hear about such and such's wife? And I'd be like, no, what happened? Well, she was dancing with some 18-year-old model
dun, dun, dun.
At a party. I'd be like, ooh, that's not good. And then I would continue on with my day thinking to myself that somebody's wife was dancing. But meanwhile, it could have been harmless. It could have been like a nephew who happens to also be a model, but the word gets around the rumor mill. Same with this. Like, Travis Kelce's just a famous man, so no matter what he does, it's going to be scrutinized and goes through the lens and the context of those who cover him.
So yesterday, side note, by the way, we were watching this Sylvester Stallone, whatever the reality show with Sylvester Stallone is, getting caught up on that. Very important. And Sylvester Stallone's wife, whose name is, I can't remember.
Adrian!
No, it's Jennifer Flavin.
Not Adrian?
I'm looking at her and I'm going, dude, that's Taylor Swift's mom.
She looks like Taylor Swift.
I mean, it is Taylor Swift.
A spitting image.
So
like nose, eyes. Like, yeah, that's interesting.
Conspiracy theories.
Well, listen, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time something like this has happened.
That's true. Which also, when we get to our morning monologues, I have uncovered something big time.
So Jason Kelce announces he's going to have a press conference today.
Yeah.
Later in the afternoon, he said, no keg videos this year. I'll have an actual press conference to announce my decision, which apparently he's made. Does that tell you guys he's done?
If he's holding a formal press conference, I can't imagine him saying anything other than I'm retiring from the game of football, the sport I love. I've given this time to mold this decision. I mean, also, let's be honest, all the signs point to him retiring. The way he handled his brother's run to the Super Bowl. I mean, he had his shirt off in Buffalo the entire game. He was just having a good old time. He's dancing with the luchador mask after the Chiefs win the Super Bowl at their after party.
Apparently he stole from some kid.
Yeah, I found it on the floor fair and square, pal.
Fighters keepers.
That's right. Also, some of his teammates have recently, Jordan Mailata, their tackle, was on with NBC Sports Philadelphia, and he was like, oh, that guy's for sure retiring. Like, do you see what he's been up to lately? So a lot of signs are pointing to him being done. A long Hall of Fame worthy career. We've said this many times on this show, but it's been expressed many times by many people who cover this game. I mean, that is a career well played by Jason Kelce.
So if Jason Kelce retires, and if Lane Johnson retires, which we don't really know either way about either of them, but they've both been speculated to retire for like 3 years now, it feels like, Eagles are in serious trouble, right? You talk about core parts of the team, like the two guys that really make a lot of the offense go, it's those two guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, also, I mean, a guy that's very, very important to that special play, the tush push, leaving, all of a sudden, that cheat code, is it still a cheat code? There's questions.
Yeah. And also Brandon Graham, who's been an edge rusher for the Eagles for a very, very long time. I mean, that's another guy. What is he in his 13th season, I believe?
He's been there forever.
So I'm another guy. This is a cascade effect. A lot of times, look, they've won a Super Bowl. They went to another one as a team. Yeah, they came up short last year, and this season was a disappointment, sure. But there's nothing guaranteed in this game. So you hang on for one extra year. I'm telling you from experience, man, this game takes a lot away from your body, and it's really hard to get ready for the next season when you're hurt. And all these guys are. You can't play, nearing 15 years of football at that level and not be a patchwork quilt of injuries that you're just trying to keep up with at this point. So Brandon Graham, like you mentioned, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, these are cornerstone foundational pieces for the Philadelphia Eagle. It wouldn't shock me if all of them retire this offseason.
That'd be hard to replace.
Yeah, they'd be in trouble. Friday. It's the morning monologue. We do it every day.
I let you guys down there. My production of the show is yelling Friday.
That's what you do.
That's what you're here for.
That's your Monday. We're so disappointed in you. Actually, so much so that you're going to lead us off. Morning monologue, Benjamin Fletcher. What do you have for us?
So there's not many things in life where you can do something absolutely perfectly and still fail. I think baseball is one of those things where you can hit a ball as hard as you possibly can, and it could just go straight to the left fielder, or it could go right to the third baseman. I really think golf is the main thing there, though, because on Saturday morning, I woke up early and played a par 3 course up near Loma Santa Fe. Remember, we played the real course there?
Oh, yeah.
Across the street, there's an executive course, and it's like the best one in San Diego. It's a par 3 course. I'm telling you guys, I hit the best shot of my life. Like, purest contact I've ever had. I thought it was going in the hole, and I threw the club as soon as I hit it.
And it was caught by the left fielder.
No, it freaking dropped in the water that was like 10 feet left of the pin. So golf, much like life, you can do something absolutely perfectly and still come up just short. And I think I just needed to realize that. And it's something I learned about myself this past weekend, that I'm good enough. Okay? So I don't need to wake up in the morning and have Travis Dale talk about me flipping him off when I never flipped you off. I flipped off your son. You know what, TD? I'm good enough for me.
Listen, but if you just as if you were to flip off Bronny James, it would have been like you were flipping off LeBron.
I promise you, I had no idea where this monologue was going. I figured there was going to be a tie into like Bronny James or Tiger Woods. No, it was. You know what, guys? I'm good.
I'm good enough for me, and I don't need this.
And doggone it, people like me.
You are the Stuart Smalley of this show.
Yeah.
By the way, the breaking news that we teased: Zach Wheeler, 3-year, $126 million deal with the Phillies.
How much?
Oh my God!
3-year, $126 million, largest annual average value in Major League Baseball
Holy
history.
smokes.
Why weren't we pitchers? That was my other morning monologue. But
Yeah. So
I'm good enough.
42 a year.
Hold on.
42 plus a year. That's not bad. That'll do, actually.
Which is it? Is that the largest annual salary in Major League Baseball history because of the deferment of Shohei?
I believe so. Yes.
Oh yeah, that does make sense.
So
largest. Otherwise, it'd be 70 mil.
Largest annual average value.
Jesus. Okay.
Wow.
So, and that's after Yamamoto's contract too, which was nuts in Dodger land.
And it's only 3 years.
Hashtag should have been a pitcher.
Right.
Toby Keith got it wrong.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go next. Here is my morning monologue. And we're going to get into this in a little bit here. But quarterback Caleb Williams, he's expected to be the first overall pick in the NFL draft. And here's what I'm going to caution everybody. You don't know him. You just don't. He played at USC. You probably saw highlights. Maybe you paid closer attention. Maybe you're a college football fan and you actually watched some of USC's games against Colorado, maybe against Oregon. Like maybe you were into it, right? Pac-12 fan of some sort. Maybe you follow one of the other teams. Here's the deal. You don't know him. None of us do. You don't know his dad either. There's going to be a lot of reporting about Caleb Williams because he is going to potentially either change or detract from. Actually, I should say he's either going to change a franchise for the better or he's going to detract from their success for the coming years if he's the first overall draft pick to whichever team. Well, I guess it would be the Chicago Bears in this case, unless they trade down, blah, blah, blah. The point is, you don't know him. There's a lot of people making these bold accusations about who he is, assassinating his character already. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens after the draft. But if there's one thing I know, it's what I don't know. And I don't know Caleb Williams. In fact, the more I hear him speak, the more impressed I am with how he's handling the pressure of this whole process. So it's just a cautionary tale. I feel like people fall into this trap every single year. We'll get into some of the reasons why people are saying negative things about Caleb Williams. But it's very obvious his profile has grown significantly as he may be the first overall pick in the draft. What do you got, TD?
Well, what I got, it's a similar note, I guess. Well, okay, look, ever since that I saw this particular person for the first time, I knew that I knew them from somewhere. Like I had seen them before, maybe in a past life, maybe in a younger life. But why? Why couldn't I place it? Why couldn't I put my finger on it? But then as I was thumbing through the old interwebs on my phone, I spotted it, guys. It'd been hiding in plain sight this whole time. Why was I so dumb? Why was I so blind? A perplexing, perpetuated problem that had just been solved by a posterior product that pounded my low tones. I'm sending you guys a picture right now.
All right, we're going to look at it.
Dua Lipa is Cher's daughter. Look, she's hot. She's kind of weird. I can barely understand her when she talks. And they have the same ass. Okay? Covered in fishnets. It's the same.
Very similar.
Does Cher have a ass tattoo?
Yeah, a gigantic one.
No.
I believe that's from the Turn Back Time video.
Wow.
Can I call a timeout?
Yeah.
You burned the second one.
Yeah.
Cher's not hot.
Well, she was, though.
Super
She
hot.
was.
Yeah.
Was she?
In her day,
Yeah,
she had a
yeah,
time.
yeah.
She's 77 now.
Come on.
Like, I believe in a life after love as much as the next guy, but I don't.
Oh no, that was her older
wait,
stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta go way back.
You got to go before that. Find her on the battleship or the aircraft carrier, whatever the hell that video
But
was
like,
on.
Dua Lipa is a generational smoke show.
Well, that's what people would say about Cher.
Yeah.
Ask Lou Penrose, who's listening right now.
yeah. Lou, back us up. Penrose knows in the 70s. I mean, like,
Dude,
everybody wanted to crack.
everybody.
Oh, dude,
Right?
yeah.
So then all of a sudden Dua Lipa's wearing the same fishnet stockings.
It's just it's like the NFL Combine. It's cyclical. Certain things, we do the same things every year. With superstar quarterbacks, we do the same things every single time a superstar musician or performer comes out. They go through the cycle.
What I got is that Mike Evans has signed a 2-year, $52 million deal with the Bucks, and Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy has sent a message to NFL teams after breaking the 40-yard dash record at the Combine. He ran a 4.21 over the weekend. The Padres, they beat up the Mariners yesterday, 12-4. Fernando Tatis Jr. gets his first homer of the spring, and he crushed it so damn hard that it nearly hit a food truck outside of the stadium. It would have been a disaster, but it was avoided, thankfully. They got the Cubs, dude, today, 12-10 first pitch. Over in the NBA, some scores. Boston hinged the Warriors and crushed them 140-88. Good God. The 76er. What did I do with this one? I don't even know what I said here. 70.
Served it out of pot.
Oh, I know what I did. Thank you. I'm back now. Whew, this is late last night. The 76ers 90-day Philadelphiance, the Mavs.
Oh my God.
121-16. The Clip Persian Cats, the Timberwolves 89-88. The Magic Mountain, the Pistons 113-91. The Raptors tooted their own Hornets 111-106. The Spurs of the momented the Pacers 117-105. The Knicks at night, the Cavs 107-98, and the Thunderier, the Suns 118-110.
You had a repeat.
That was it. The
Spurs.
Ah, dang it!
Spur of the moment.
Golly.
You've used spur of the momented.
That was the first time I've caught a repeat.
There's been a couple where I'm like, I don't remember. But
first,
but it's 11.
Oh, you said the Orlando Magic mounted the Pistons. I was dying laughing. I had a hard time.
So,
I'm like, oh, you said Magic Mountain.
Now we got listeners tagging us in Dua Lipa thirst traps on the internet.
Thank you, listeners.
Dude, yeah. So she does this thing. Yeah, this has gone viral so many times on TikTok with the mic stand.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
it's like a new Shakira.
So she humps her mic stand. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Robin SD, for sending that our way.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, hold on. You just chastised me for it, and now you're thanking the listeners.
No, I'll thank Rob.
Well, I thank Rob as well. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, he's a really great guy.
Yeah, a real American.
So
just like these Eagles out here in Big Bear.
So, by the way, the Boston Celtics, that's their 11th straight win, and they didn't just win. They beat the Golden State Warriors 140-88.
So in those 11 games, by the way, they're averaging the margin of victories over 22 points. That's their third 50-plus point win of the season so far.
What?
The Celtics are just rolling through, folks. Now, Steph Curry didn't play at all in the second half because why would he? The game was over at the end of the first quarter. But Curry only had 4 points in the game.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Well, wow.
Yeah, nothing more to say about that.
The Lakers, by the way, where are they sitting? 32-29.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, so the Lakers, I think, are now sitting in 10th place, which, I mean, they're in the tournament now. I mean, they're the play-in.
Yeah.
Do they have what it takes to all of a sudden make it?
Well, they'll make the play-in at least, and by the way, they'll fight their way into the playoffs like they did last year, and they win all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So I don't think anybody's worried. Once the Lakers are in, it's LeBron in the postseason, it's AD in the postseason. They'll find a way to make a deep run. But that's why the NBA regular season is so annoying, because it doesn't even matter. like these teams can just like kind of screw off. And as long as they're a top 10 team in their conference they're in.
The Warriors just got beat by 50+ points. They're probably also going to be in the play-in tournament this year. It really doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't.
Look at the top of the West. It's not like that superstar teams like the Timberwolves are near the top of the West.
Oh, no,
OKC's up near the top of the West.
OKC is the 1 seed. The Timberwolves are the 1 seed in the East.
Okay.
Yeah, Minnesota's in the East. But anyways, all right. Coming up next, we've all heard of the GOAT and we've all heard of the WOAT. We have somebody who is the WOATiest. I mean, of all time.
Timberwolves are in the West.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they're the 2 seed in the West right now.
That's so strange. All right. Moving on from that, I want to get to this. Fletch has the GOAT of apps.
Daily fantasy sports. Number 1 in America. Wow, over 3 million members nationwide. Prize Picks is the best. And this is a big week for Prize Picks because we got a very special MMA event coming up on Saturday that I cannot wait for because Sugar Sean O'Malley is headlining it. The number is $2.99. That's what's important right now. But Prize Picks is where you need to go to get ready for Saturday. That is going to be a huge night in the world of daily fantasy sports. Make sure you get over to DraftKings right now because you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with pro basketball, hockey, college basketball, MMA, all those entries and more, including darts, the sleeper of everything. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from basketball and hockey to League of Legends for TD and everything in between. You can pick LeBron, Caitlin Clark, Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, Sugar Sean O'Malley, all in the same entry. Prize Picks is the best way to get your action on in sports in more than 30 states across the country. Prize Pick even offering that injury insurance so that your entries will stay in play even if one of your players gets hurt. Prize Pick, super simple to play. You can make your pick, submit your entry in less than 60 seconds, and the quick withdrawals, easy gameplay is what makes it America's #1 fantasy sports app. They're always offering those weekly promotions. Make sure you download it today so you can be a part of Taco Tuesday coming up tomorrow. PrizePicks.com/Fletch or download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch to get your first deposit matched up to $100. That's code Fletch on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Coming up next, more Big Rich, TD, and Fletch as we react to a Padres weekend. This update is presented by Taco Bell. We will start off here with the Padres. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit his first homer of the spring yesterday in the 12-4 win over the Mariners. In the NBA, Celtics get their third 50-point win of the season. They smashed the Warriors 140-88. Bucks have made a move in the NFL. They lock up Mike Evans for the next 2 years. Tons of money for the wide receiver. College Hoops, Aztecs, they had the weekend off. They enter the final week of the regular season, tied for third in the Mountain West. They got UNLV tomorrow on the road, then Boise State Friday at home for senior night. Taco Bell's breakfast Crunchwrap, breakfast burrito, and breakfast quesadilla are all filled with the ingredients you crave: fluffy eggs, melty cheese, savory sausage, bacon, or potato. Make it a meal with Cinnabon Delights, a crispy hash brown, and a coffee. Grab Taco Bell breakfast at participating stores till 11 a.m. while supplies last.
Big Rich and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. We are on Pip Watch out in Big Bear, looking for a new little eaglet to be hatched. It's windy. It appears to be cold. No eaglets as of yet. Also, a couple giveaways that we're going to be giving away. It's weird how that works. A little bit later here in the show, Outlaw Music Festival. We got a pair of tickets. July 29th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We're talking Willie Nelson. We're talking Bob Dylan. We're talking John Cougar Mellencamp. And a whole lot more. Tickets and info at livenation.com, or just keep it locked here for your chance to win. Also, a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Tradition returns, and so does Rich, and at an authentic Irish celebration that takes over the streets of San Diego's historic Gaslamp District on March 16th. SanDiegoShamrock.com for tickets and info there. Guys, I just went into the break room, got myself a cup of coffee, and I noticed in the little fruit basket that's sitting in there, there's 2 potatoes. Like raw potatoes. Who's planning on locking up the toaster oven for an hour while they bake some potatoes?
They're like, look, it's part of my new. I'm doing the potato diet until St. Patty's Day. So screw all of you.
Yeah,
I need this sucker at 4:25 for 60 min. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good times.
Rich, you're going to break that door one day.
Yeah, you're going to knock it right off the hinges, man.
It's a matter of time. I'm not going to say I'm trying to, but yeah, secretly I am trying.
I also tried to hit it as hard as you. Turns out I can't.
Well, doors hit back.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to Rich Ornberger.
Oh, well, I miss football so much. I just need to get it out sometime.
Those mitts knock that thing right open, man.
Just find any heavy door I can. Just give it hell. Speaking of giving it hell, Jesus, Angel Hernandez on
Dude, sucks.
Dude, I mean, as an umpire in baseball, you would figure at year whatever this is, 47, like he's been doing this for like half a century, it feels like.
And he looks exactly the same today as he did 20 years ago.
He is so bad at this. He is calling numerous strikes balls and vice versa, and he's been doing it. He's been doing like he is the reason, unfortunately, that umpires are going to lose the privilege behind the plate of calling balls and strikes, because in spring training, he's in midseason form. What game was it that he was on the call for that he just was screwing everything up recently? It was over this weekend. He is just massacring the strike zone.
It was Mets and Cardinals.
Mets and
Cardinals over a 7-pitch series that were strikes. 5 of them he called balls. I mean, they were right in the box.
Like, and what's wild about spring training is no one really cares about the results. You're just getting going. So you're kind of wanting these games to just get through, right? So Angel Hernandez should be calling more ball strikes, not vice versa.
100%.
And I also feel like with Major League Baseball referees, umpires, whatever you want to call them, the more you know about the person, the worse a job they've done over their career. Because we know everything about Angel Hernandez, because he's been really crappy for like 15, 20 years now. And at a certain point, like, what is going on with the MLB grading system? Because NFL refs, they don't get to stick around the league if they're bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Angel Hernandez is like a promotional tool for the league.
This is one particular job where I go, yeah, I mean, robots could take that over. It'd probably be fine. And you know what? I just would like to see if you stuck the robot out next to Angel Hernandez or any ref or ump and just start matching the calls and see how well they do versus a human and just see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. It's almost like that old show, Pros versus Joes.
Yeah.
Like have umps versus bots.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's do
Bots
it.
would win.
Bots would win, obviously.
It wouldn't even be close.
But you know what would be nice? If we could see like a reasonable boost in percentage of accurately called pitches, because then I would say, all right, I'm fine with human error in sports. Sports are built off of human error. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. But be better than this. I mean, this guy called 5 strikes balls. I mean, and some of them, the spatter chart that TD pulled up, this went viral. I mean, several of them are like legitimately like belt high right down Broadway.
Yeah, several. I mean, there are 3 that are right at the belt, right in the middle over the plate. It's incredible. But by the way, if you stuck a robot
Angel, Angel, when will those clouds all disappear?
In the arms of the angel.
In the arms of the Angel Hernandez.
If you put
away from the strike zone.
So this is the MLB of the future. You have the catcher right behind him. You have the home plate ump right behind him. You have number 5 from short circuit, just looking over his shoulder.
Yeah. That was a ball.
And just see if Angel Hernandez gets better at this, because he knows that number 5 is waiting to take his job.
It would be amazing. Can you imagine catcher, Angel Hernandez, robot? They're all in a row behind each other, and you see him with those little like tank treads. Yeah, and he's like, Johnny 5 is still alive, and so is that batter. That's a ball.
I do wonder, like we've been talking about robo umps in Major League Baseball for so long. I wonder if it actually happens, and then the product is significantly worse.
Ooh.
You mean the entire product of baseball?
Yeah, like baseball as a whole gets worse because of robo.
But how would it get worse?
There's less craziness in the game. I think part of like the fun of baseball is bitching and moaning after the fact. And like there won't be any more excuses. Like if the Padres get beat, it's not like you can't say, oh, well, Angel Hernandez was calling the game and that dude sucks.
Well, here's one thing I will say about baseball overall. I really appreciate, and Bob Manfred deserves credit. I mean, maybe once in his entire career. It was slow. It was slow to get there, but the nimbleness they've shown over the past 2 seasons of changing rules to make the game faster,
banning the shift, putting the pitch clock in, I think they've all worked.
Yeah, and even widening the bases or making them bigger, whatever.
They should make the bases even bigger.
Can you imagine?
Keep making them huge.
Video game size bases, like second base is now. It's like it looks
make them all different sizes. So first base will be like 4 feet by 4 feet. Like we want people on base. Second base, it's only 18 inches.
And turns out now it's a circle.
Yeah.
It's a manhole cover. Little. Every once in a while, they'll do Nickelodeon broadcasts where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are like peeking up out of second base.
Just see eyeballs and fingers. Yeah.
Major League Baseball should hire us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think baseball's done a good job with a couple of things. Like you mentioned the shift, you mentioned the pitch clock. Those 2 things have really hastened these games. Some of these games, obviously, they do some wonky stuff in spring training, but when they're playing it straight, a lot of these games are going like 2.5 hours. To me, that's the perfect length of time for a baseball game. I'm not settling in and going, all right, I got just about 5 hours to watch Padres Mets on a random Sunday.
Major League Baseball should create a side league for those who have performance-enhancing drugs, and then just let them play and just make it like the all steroids league.
You know, there
and just
is
go nuts.
I think it's for like track sports mostly. I'm pretty sure there's this contingent of wealthy millionaire billionaires who are trying to put together an all steroid sports league.
It's very unsafe, but I'm in.
But yeah, I forget what it is. I forget the name of it, but it's like legitimately they're going to allow them to like run the 100-yard dash on roids. And we're going to say,
but hold on. Is anyone in this room not wanting to see that?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty cool with anybody doing whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anybody else.
Right.
And right. I mean, I don't really see how. I mean, outside of like it would be pretty depressing if you see like somebody crush the 100-yard dash record and then their heart explodes because they're all hopped up on amphetamines.
We don't want that.
Yeah,
don't
that
want
would be terrible.
Yeah, that
but
would
outside
be
of that
bad.
happening, I mean, it should be pretty cool.
Well, see, so maybe the 100-yard dash isn't where it's at. It's literally just hitting home runs.
That'd be like a home run derby, except on roids, man.
Yeah,
I guess that would be. Well, then again, we saw that when it was McGuire and Sosa
in the late
Bonds.
90s.
Yeah, guess we did experience that.
I would argue was pretty fun.
Do you realize? Okay, go back and look at Barry Bonds holding a baseball bat. It looks like he's swinging a toothpick.
I saw a video this weekend of like unbelievable Barry Bonds stats. And it is like some of them don't make sense. Like his 2007, 2008, 2006, in that time frame, Barry Bonds had seasons where if he never would have swung the bat, period, he would have led all-time Major League Baseball in on-base percentage because of how often he was getting walked. He has walked with the bases empty, intentionally walked with the bases empty more time than anybody else in Major League Baseball history combined.
So Barry Bonds, those stats will blow you away from a hitting standpoint, from a pitching standpoint. I was doing this week and it came up in conversation. Look up Nolan Ryan's stats.
Yeah. Craziness.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. Nobody will ever catch
Look
him.
up Tony Gwynn's stats.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Tony Gwynn's stats. So there was a Tony Gwynn stat that if he went 0-1100 for the tail end of his career, he would still bat over 300. Right?
That's absurd.
What are we talking about?
What?
Yeah.
What? 1,100.
That is correct.
God.
I don't remember the exact three pitchers, but there was a trio of pitchers during the time Tony Gwynn was playing that were just all world.
Yeah.
And combined, they struck him out like a total of 3 times in his career.
He had a year where he had under 20 strikeouts. He played the whole season.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously we would have to double check some of those stats, but that's what I saw. It was mind blowing.
No, yours is right. I think it was even more than 1,100. It might have been like 1,250.
That's insane.
We talk about it's like that SNL. Yeah, Bill Bradley. I'll tell you what he did.
That's exactly right. Tony Gwynn is Bill Bradley.
Yeah. All right, Fletch, man. We got to talk about some stuff coming up next. What do we got to talk? We got to talk about this. Okay. This is going to make a certain group of people very happy. This is going to make a lot of people unhappy. But the people who it's going to make unhappy aren't the majority, so nobody cares. That's what's coming up next.
That's a hell of a tease.
But before, Oh, yeah. I spelled it out for you. But before we get to any of that, Fletch, for the second time in a row, I want you to tell me about the app you have open on your phone right now.
I'm going to tell you all about it, Richie.
Okay, very
and
good.
Here's what it is. It's primetimes.golf. And do me a huge favor and go sign up for it today. It's pretty simple. I did it this morning. It took me about 3 minutes to actually sign up for primetimes.golf. And the reason it takes 3 minutes is because you're also putting in information about yourself so that primetimes.golf can share you with other golfers on primetimes.golf. So you are golfing with people who you have common interests with. And you're able to sign up for a bunch of different groups, including like Aztecs fans that can all meet up and golf together. And that's the networking feature on primetimes.golf. It's the option 1 there. And it's when you sign up, you'll see golf available for like this Saturday, upcoming March 9th at the Hidden Golf Gem in Escondido, the Vineyard. It's an awesome course. But you can also go in and sign up to golf with people with common interests, like 15 other people, and you can play one of the coolest courses in San Diego, and you can find all that on primetimes.golf. The network golf is great. The value golf is also awesome. It's just $50 a month. It gives you access to unsold tee times 72 hours in advance, and then as soon as those tee times open up, you can book the same courses that I was just talking about for just $20. So if you do the math on that, it's $110. You're playing 3 golf courses in San Diego. That's unheard of. That's like the cost of 1 round of golf at most courses. We all know that tee times in San Diego are impossible to come by. Value golf at primetimes.golf is a no-brainer. Log on to primetimes.golf today. Sign up is free. Then choose if you want to sign up for a tee time already available to secure your spot, or sign up for value golf for $50 a month and wait for any unsold tee times to open up and get to play up to 3 times per month based on availability. Primetimes.golf. primetimes.golf.
Everybody knows it's coming, and most people want it. So why hasn't it happened yet? That's next. Big Rich TV and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. If you want to go to Shamrock St. Patty's celebration downtown, March 16th, you're going to need to keep listening for the next 4 minutes. We're going to tell you exactly how to win those tickets. Don't call right now. Give you the number when it's time to call. All right. So there's a big push for the NFL to expand to 18 games. We knew this was just around the corner when they expanded the season to 17 games. Obviously, they weren't going to keep it at an odd number. They're going to make it an even number of games, which makes more sense.
Yeah, like 162.
No. Enough is never enough. Like we're seeing that with the college football playoff. You remember like 2 weeks ago, they were like, all right, we're set in. We got 12 teams. This is how we're going to do it. They announced the breakup of like what teams are getting in from where. And then a week later, 14 teams. The college football playoff is set. We're doing 14. With the NFL, I feel like it's going to get to a point of diminishing return. They haven't gotten there yet. The 17-game schedule works. I worry that adding on to 18 means in 3 years we'll be having the conversation. Well, all right, they're getting ready for their 20-game schedule. We knew this was coming, of course, because they got to 18. There's got to be a stopping point because the NFL is perfect because of the length of the regular season.
Yeah. I don't think 18 diminishes it at all, really. And I think 18 is fine. What I worry is they go, okay, we're going to eat up another preseason game. I don't want that. I want the regular season to be extended by another week.
Oh, I see. I fall in the camp where I don't care about the preseason at all.
Same.
So if they got rid of another preseason game, I wouldn't care.
Oh, that's not what my concern is. My concern is I don't want to be sitting here in this lull of time period where there's nothing going on.
Oh,
extend that season a little bit. Give me a little bit further. Get me closer to March Madness, baby.
NFL earlier.
Well, I mean, NFL, so where the Super Bowl, instead of it being the first week of February, make it the second or third week of February.
NFL extending later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. I like where your head's at. I think this will happen for a reason that you're not thinking of naturally, even if they do take away a preseason game. So check this out from Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. The first hint of this came when Browns GM Andrew Berry explained on PFT Live that Cleveland and other teams were proposing a delay of the trade deadline by 14 days from the Tuesday after Week 8 to the Tuesday after week 10. So 2 more weeks, right? Barry said that 1 week was aimed at accounting for the extra week created by the 17th regular season game. And that second week was anticipation of further expansion of the regular season to 18 games. That happened on Tuesday. In talking to folks after that, I mentioned Barry's plan with the anticipation of another game, and the reaction was basically, yeah, that's coming. So it's not necessarily coming in the next labor deal between the NFLPA and the NFL, which is coming up soon. They're going to be renegotiating as they do just about every 5 years, especially on these 10-year deals. But the reality of the situation is within all of our lifetimes, this will expand to 18 games. Now, the reason why I said to you that I do think that it'll reach deeper into February, TD, is because if you add another game to the schedule, most likely you're going to add a bye week, another bye week.
Right.
So I think you're going to have 2 byes for every team. And as a result of that, you're going to have that natural deeper push into February, even if you take away another preseason game and it's limited to 2 preseason games.
Man, oh man. So 2 byes is where I feel like you would have to limit that. I mean, if you couldn't extend this thing further and add a 3rd bye week because you just don't have enough games playing on the weekends. And then you start to spread these bye weeks out where you're going to have like you see these really early, season buys or these really late season buys. Yeah, which that doesn't work for me either. So, and this is a dicey road that you're traveling down, but I get it. I get why you have to add another bye in there.
I do wonder also if certain teams would have to have the majority of their home games earlier in the year, because like we saw this year with the playoffs in Kansas City and in Buffalo, like those were brutal games for the guys on the field. So could you imagine the deeper we get into this, like if the NFL continues to push and maybe the Super Bowl isn't even until like March, like if it gets that far down the road, you're going to have teams playing regular season games in below freezing temperatures?
Well, yeah, and here's the reality.
I'm not mad about it, but there's a diminishing return there too. Like a couple of snow games a year is a lot of fun. Like 6 snow games a year becomes potentially you're seeing records swayed the wrong direction because of it.
I get what you're saying, but football has a natural arc where beginning of the season, it really is. It's all passing game and offense. Everybody's excited to see some of these high flying offenses have a ton of success. And then the rubber meets the road right around Thanksgiving time when it starts to turn in the colder weather environments. And a lot of teams recently in colder weather environments have been really good. Green Bay for years, New England for years, the Buffalo Bills have been in playoff contention now for a half decade, Kansas City, etc. You have these outdoor environment teams where they have a definitive playoff, or I should say home field advantage, where they're making entrance into the playoffs. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, since he's been there, they've had an advantage. So yeah, like I agree with what you're saying. It really does tilt the season, but I think that tilt is interesting. I think people are into it. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore gets cold that time of year. I like it.
It puts more emphasis on getting the 1 seed for sure.
For sure.
Because the Miami Dolphins never had a shot in the playoffs this year because they're a warm weather team and they had to go to below freezing temperatures.
Here's my biggest request. And listen, we know the league office listens to this show every single morning.
What up, Raj?
Yeah, Raj. Goodell.
How's that hairpiece doing, my guy?
Dude is in the basement just crushing M&Ms. Listen to Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. He does it every single morning. So, Raj, if you're listening, do not add another single playoff game. I know it's enticing.
Or team.
We're good. We're done. That's what I meant. Sorry, team. Or teams.
If they add one more team, that means most likely 2 teams are getting a bye every year. We don't need it.
We don't need
one team getting the bye. Perfect.
14 teams in. That's less than half the league. 1 team gets the bye. We still have a competitive regular season, even with 18 games. I feel like we wouldn't pass the point of diminishing returns. We're done. No more playoff expansion because boy, oh boy,
no.
if you have half the league in the playoffs,
bad news.
Bad news.
We don't need any below 500 teams making the playoffs ever.
And you gotta make the beauty about the NFL is how important every single game is. So don't take that away.
So wait, is this going to be a 20-week regular season?
Well, if you added 2 byes,
that's a long time.
Yeah, 2 byes. It'll be a 20-week regular season.
I'm here for it because that's like a 17-week fantasy football season.
I'm very happy with that. This is gonna be, trust me, it's gonna work as long as they don't screw with the postseason. That is the biggest thing.
That is a very big but.
Yeah, it's a huge, because they like money.
Speaking of big butts, I cannot lie. We got a giveaway to do.
Oh my gosh. Okay, tell them how to do it.
Okay, what you're gonna do is call at 7:59.
Yes.
I'm sorry, 7:59.
Thank
See, I
you.
screwed that up already. 7:59, but you're going to call 877-767-4760. If you are caller number 5 at 7:59, you are going to win those Shamrock tickets, a pair of tickets to Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival over at the Gaslamp District on March 16th. San Diego Shamrock.com for tickets and info there. Coming up.
Oh, man.
More,
Padres.
yeah.
Okay,
Padres.
Spring training.
That's right.
They got 1 million players on the roster. We're going to get it.
They got to whittle it down
to 26. We'll figure out if they can.
That's right.
Also, is he a good dad or is he an overbearing dad? Also, Eagle Watch, Lake Big Bear. We'll get into it.
That's right. Also, in the NFL, they want to change the kickoff rules a little bit.
Oh, we'll get into that as well. But first, you mentioned about big butts. Well, mine's been shrinking.
It has.
With SDFatLoss.com. People used to say, look at that fat ass. I mean, honestly,
all the time. Your face.
To my face, honestly, or honestly to my back. Because I would walk past, be like, hey, Rich. And then I would just hear snickering. It was getting really bad. What a workplace environment. Imagine surviving that all day long. No, listen, I mean, it was mainly from my wife.
Right.
She's like, so when are you going to lose all the fat? I was like, thanks for asking.
Barely get around that gigantic ass.
Well, with SCFatLoss.com, they have this awesome guarantee. Check this out. Follow the program, but don't see weight loss in the first 10 days. You'll get your money back. This is amazing. They're focused on getting you results that they offer. If you're worried that you're not going to lose weight, trust me, you will. We all did. And we were skeptics. We walked into this first time meeting Wayne and Chloe. They walked the walk. They talked the walk. They talked the talk. We were skeptical though, because we had tried a couple different things on our own and we tried something together to lose weight. None of us were. And so with Wayne and Chloe, SDFatLoss.com, we saw such significant results within the first 10 days to 2 weeks that I told them, I was like, I'm a little worried. Am I losing weight too fast? They're like, no. You were just really fat to start with. And I was like, oh, got it. Yeah, it was awesome. It really was awesome. You're going to see dramatic results. I can guarantee that from my own experience, from Fletch's experience, from Travis's experience here. It's been really, really wonderful. They're sensational people. SCFatLoss.com is the real deal. So if you want to start your weight loss journey today with a 10-day guarantee, SDFatLoss.com.
Hour number 3 here on Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. This update presented by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Starting off with the Pods, Fernando Tatis Jr. hit his first homer of the spring yesterday, and it was a blast. College Hoops, Aztecs had the weekend off. They entered the final week of the Mountain West regular season tied for third place. They got UNLV tomorrow on the road, Boise State Friday at home. Sticking with college hoops, Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark passing Pete Maravich as the all-time Division I scoring leader, men's or women's basketball. And in the NBA, Celtics get their third 50-point win of the year. They smashed the Warriors 140-88. Mike Evans going to be a Buck next year, or for the next 2 years, as he signs a 2-year deal before free agency hits. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Happy Monday to those who celebrate. Tons to celebrate here. We had a busy sports weekend, a lot happening around the NBA as we inch closer to the playoffs, a lot happening around Arizona, Cactus League play. The Padres, they're getting ready to finish up and head out to Seoul, South Korea. Aztecs in action for the final 2 times this week coming. Tuesday game on the road, night game against UNLV. They follow up with their final, their senior night, their finish to the season at against Boise State at home at Viejas on Friday, right, Fletch?
Last time you get to see Jaden Ledee at Viejas Arena.
It's pretty crazy, man.
Last time for Jay Powell, a couple other guys too that you're not going to see back with the team next year. And then lots of question marks. Like I keep forgetting this, but Lamont Butler could come back next year because of that extra COVID season. Yeah. So a lot of the seniors around college basketball, depending on how things go with the like NBA stock profile and stuff, they could all be coming back, which is a cool thing about college basketball right now. And I think this might be the last group that gets to do it with the extra COVID year.
Did you guys watch Sydney Sweeney on SNL?
I did.
What'd you think?
Big performance.
Huge.
I thought
it was kind of boring.
It was awful. I mean, it was awful.
I only saw the clips online. What I watched, like the cheerleader bit with the dog, was kind of
Yeah. I mean, I went.
Yeah, it was cute. It wasn't great. The Hooters bit was okay.
Yeah, that was.
I'll tell you what. My favorite clip that went viral was when she was doing the thank yous at the end,
right?
Because she gave 2 very big thank yous to the viewing audience at home.
She did. Yes, she did. That is very true. It's very true. But man, oh man, like the opening monologue, the skits, it was almost cringeworthy bad.
I know. Well, I will say this: SNL, they are they're reaching for a younger audience. Obviously, Shane Gillis was their last host, and then they have Sydney Sweeney. They're trying to steal some relevance with hosts that are extremely relevant right now. With her movie being released and Shane Gillis, his rise to fame recently. Also, how about Caitlin Clark's rise to recent fame? Iowa Hawkeye women's college basketball player who's now officially passed Pete Maravich, who held the men's college basketball record for most points scored over a career. Here's a quick commentary on this, and then we can move on. If you guys have strong opinions about this, weigh in, please. My thoughts are, I have no idea why she's being compared to Pete Maravich. I don't get it. I don't think it's right. It's a different sport. It was played, by the way, in a different time. I don't think it's right to hold her to that standard, frankly. And heavens forbid she like rolled her ankle against the Buckeyes, against Ohio State in this game where she did pass Maravich's record, and say it was bad enough that she couldn't finish the regular season and she then missed the record. All this buildup for the sake of promotion, by the way, would have made her seem lesser than she actually is, because she holds the women's record.
Yeah.
She's done it already.
Right.
Like, they were holding her to this invisible standard that I felt was so stupid. It actually diminishes her. I don't understand why we do this to athletes constantly, but there's never been a shared points record there. It's not a real record, by the way. She didn't break any record against Ohio State, in my opinion. It's not real. He's got the men's record.
Yeah.
She's got the women's record. And that's as far as this goes.
So Mark Ziegler put out a tweet about this, basically what you're saying. He says, can we please stop with the Caitlin Clark, Pete Maravich comparisons? Maravich scored his points in 83 games. Clark did it in 130. Maravich did not have a three-point line or shot clock, and freshmen were ineligible. The women's ball is smarter, lighter, but shooting into the same sized hoop. And then he goes on to say, if we're now comparing female to male performances, will we do it apples to oranges like track and swimming? Should we say how many high school boys went faster than the women's 800-meter gold medalists? Can't we just celebrate achievements without comparisons? And I think that is a part of today's culture that we need to be very aware of. Like, can we celebrate achievements without always holding somebody up to another person?
Yeah, I mean, in sports, maybe in anything, you're trying to compare the best somewhere. So there's always a line that you're trying to get to. There's always a goal you're trying to achieve. There's always a record you're trying to break. I mean, that's a saying that records are meant to be broken. So you're always trying to find some comparison. So I see that also, but you are 1000% correct here, Rich, of they're trying to do this as a promotion. Yeah. I mean, that's the point of this whole thing. Look, what Caitlin Clark is doing is amazing. It's incredible. It is very difficult if you do start to compare apples to oranges, because you can always make the case of, but also ... but this person also ... Just compare her stats to where they need to be compared, and then let your mind be blown.
Yeah.
She is incredible, though.
She's great.
I mean, and she's driving. I think Fox has had a lot of their games, the Iowa games, and they're outdoing pretty much every NBA game going right now. Like, Caitlin Clark's Iowa Hawkeye are dominating the ratings scene in terms of college men's basketball and college women's basketball, and in terms of even the NBA.
Well, they're electric to watch. They're fun to watch. So that's why people have eyeballs on them, and the fact that obviously they are making you watch it with promotions like this and throwing out headlines like this where people go, I wonder what I should be seeing here, or what am I missing?
Yeah, and for whatever reason, they only do it when, like, and again, it's for the sake of promotion, and this is how you know it. Like when Serena passed Federer for overall, it was either Grand Slams or tour wins. They celebrated Serena. Well, when Djokovic passed Serena, nobody celebrated Djokovic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how transparent this is. They're doing it to promote. They're not doing it because it's like an acceptable thing to do. It's silly. Like I said, I think it diminishes all of her accomplishments. And then, because then you have people who do dig up those stats. In fact, somebody went through the effort, I guess, of going back and studying Pete Maravich's range of shots, like his distance from the hoops. And so if there was a three-point line during that time, they said he would have 1,500 more points than he did, meaning he would have blown the doors off of this current standing record if we're going to compare Clark to Maravich, which, again, I'm not in favor of because it's stupid. They're two different sports.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, I don't know. It's just something that popped up obviously yesterday as she overtook this pretend record, and it was again to get eyeballs on a game. Yeah. It's like cutting a promo for a wrestling match.
1000%. And putting all that aside, hats off to Caitlin Clark.
No kidding.
I mean, come on.
She's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And the amount of young people who are now invested into women's college basketball, it's never been at a higher point in history. She's making tons of money with NIL. Hopefully there are more Caitlin Clarks to come, but I so agree that the Pete Maravich thing is the dumbest argument that we've ever had on Sports Talk TV National.
Do you think there are children listening to our show right now going, I wish I was on the radio?
Yeah.
And now there's going to be like a whole group of kids that grow up and they want to be on morning radio.
Just because of Big Rich TD.
Yeah.
In like 20 years, there's going to be like a young upstart disc jockey named Buck Norris who's just rising to power. because he loved our show mascot so much.
He's gonna be the new host of season 162 of American Idol.
Yeah. He's gonna wear antlers. Everybody's gonna wonder why he's got big doucher sunglasses on.
That's his thing.
Peter Salas, I hope your kids are listening. That's right. We're relying on them.
That's right.
They will shepherd in a new generation of idiots / broadcasters
/ adjacents.
Yeah.
Well, the Celtics have now won 3 games this season by more than 50 points. They beat the crap out of the Warriors yesterday. Final score 140-88. They've also won like 11 straight games, and the average combined victory differential, whatever, is like over 22.5 points. So good for the Celtics. Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a bomb yesterday in spring training. 12-4 win over the Mariners for the Padres. College hoops, Aztecs had the weekend off. They got the final week of the regular season here. They're tied for third with like 5 different teams in the Mountain West. They got UNLV tomorrow, Boise State Friday night at home. Boise State, one of the 2 teams ahead of them. They're looking for a Utah State loss here. And Caitlin Clark, we were just talking about her, most points in college basketball history, men's or women's. And the Bucks have made a move in the NFL. Mike Evans staying with his team for the next 2 years. He got a 2-year. What was the final number on that deal, TD?
$52 million.
With like 35 guaranteed, right?
$52 million. Yeah, I didn't see the guarantee, but either way, love that money.
And then in baseball, Zach Wheeler is now the highest paid annual average value baseball player in MLB history. It's a 3-year deal worth $126 million. And baseball, you don't got to worry about that whole guaranteed, not guaranteed thing. He's getting 126 mil.
Zach Wheeler is like a strong name.
It's a good
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one right
country
there.
music star Zach Wheeler.
Right.
Pitcher Zach Wheeler.
Right.
Race car driver Zach Wheeler.
All day long.
Are you kidding me?
Like beer chugging champ Zach Wheeler.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Cornholer Zach Wheeler.
I feel like there's not too many 33-year-olds breaking records like that.
No.
Like that's the impressive part to me. He's on the second half of his career here, still getting that kind of money.
Do you think he says things like, "It's right in my Wheeler house"?
Take a lap.
I didn't say it.
Yeah,
but that was bad.
No, it was real bad. All he knows is long ass laps and
you'd think he'd be in better shape by now. He still comes in like out of breath every time he does one of these things.
Well, they say some of the people who are who get out of breath really quick after exercise, they're actually in great shape. It's because your body is ready for action. So you start getting the respiration rate up.
I was having a thought on Saturday. I was sitting at a brewery thinking about our show and stuff, contemplating thoughts over a beer while Kendall was telling some story that I had no interest in. Not to me, to my buddy. I'd already heard the story, but I was thinking about how funny it would be if we could do like TD workout tutorial videos.
Oh my God.
Like you see those ads pop up on Instagram or TikTok of like the 5-minute hit workout that'll change your life forever. Can you imagine if we get a TD like 5-minute hit workout video?
Oh yeah. We were just discussing that we should put out promotional workout videos with you. Like it's like, here's TD doing a plank. And then it's like him on his elbows. But then when the camera pans down towards his lower body and his belly is touching the body.
I'm all in on this.
All right, good.
This 5-minute workout will change your life forever. I'm TD. Here we go.
You're on your elbows, but then your belly and your groins touching the ground. And then as we pan to your legs, your 2 legs are just kicking. Like,
with a little pillow underneath it.
Yeah, under your knees.
I mean, I'm fine with all that.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
My lap included a trip by the kitchen, so
they have M&Ms in there, so that's why I went by.
That's right.
So we talked about this a little bit. So LeBron James has a son named Bronny Jr. If you're catching up with this story, he's at USC. He's a guard. He's a freshman. He's not very good. You compare him to the rest of college basketball. He's averaging 5 points.
Not very good in the field he's in. I mean, right. So I compare it to us, like maybe if he was playing in the Hardwood and Balls Classic,
he would dominate.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Look, Bronny James on like if you went to a pickup game at a park would be the best basketball player on the court.
Unless Adam Sandler's playing.
Yeah, maybe. Unless the Sandman's out there.
No, it's really hard to have this conversation because if Bronny James was anyone else not named Bronny James, you would think, oh, well, he's a freshman. He's putting up 5 points a game. He's getting playing time at a big school. Now USC is like 97th in the country in the net rankings, and Bronny James, That's all he is. He's a guy who's cracking some playing
He's
time
just
there.
a guy.
He's just a guy. And I feel like it's not fair to even have this conversation. I think LeBron James is doing a disservice to his son by continuing to talk about it.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why look, it's LeBron, but it's also the media. His son, you're cursed. First of all, in some ways. Look, he's going to live a good life. He's going to be a millionaire on his own merit. I mean, just on his own fame going to USC and collecting NIL checks. This guy is going to be a millionaire before he's finished with college. If he stays at USC for 4 years, he may end up making something close to $50 million.
If LeBron James decided he wanted to make the George Foreman grill, except the LeBron jersey, I'm sorry, did I say LeBron? I meant Bronny James. If he decided he wanted to make the George Foreman grill, except the LeBron version, he would also be a millionaire. He'd sell them.
Yeah. I mean, right now, college athletes, popular ones, they are a vehicle for their own financial success, because all you need to be is you and post a tweet for a company, I don't know, once a quarter, and you're going to make $1 million if you're a famous enough athlete. And these college athletes are famous enough, especially Bronny. Getting back to the original point, though, Clutch Sports, the CEO of which, Rich Paul, has spoken out about his draft prospects. They said that he's not going to declare eligible for the draft based on draft lottery positioning. It's going to be on team fit and team interest, which basically means he's not going to be drafted because he's not a good enough player to be drafted. Nobody's going to waste a draft pick on a guy who's averaging 5 points on a bad team in the Pac-12. But what could happen is that team of interest, the Lakers, might just go ahead and sign him as an undrafted free agent, and maybe he'll be with the team. Maybe he'll be with the G League. Who knows? But LeBron James has made it very clear that he is the master of his son's destiny, even though he's recently been quoted saying, I want Bronny to make grown man decisions, to stand on his own feet. It's like, no, you don't. Because if you did, he wouldn't be like coasting off of your coattails.
Right.
And is that a bad thing? Like, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, is it bad that LeBron James wants to get his son into the league? You know, is it bad that if Bronny James gets into the NBA, it's only going to be because his dad made some threats to the front office of the Lakers?
It's a bad thing.
It's a bad precedent at the very least.
Yeah.
But do you think the Lakers are the only team looking at Bronny James?
Yeah.
You think so?
I doubt anybody's interested. He's like, maybe in terms of guard play in college basketball, he's probably top 200, maybe.
Okay, but
top
maybe.
150,
But
top 150, maybe.
I think those numbers get a lot bigger when you look at like the team he's on, where he's not even like the number 2 or number 3 guard on his team.
But he has more worth than just his play.
See, that is a great point. When you get into the marketing side of this, like whoever signs him may also get an opportunity to then sign LeBron James as a free agent in the tail end of his career, you know? So
let's put it this way.
And by the way, just think of the banners outside of crypto.com arena where you have LeBron and Bronny, the legend continues. They're side by side. I mean, it's a hell of a look.
Space Jam.
Yeah. Oh my God! All day.
So Caitlin Clark, who announced that she's going to go pro next year, which a lot of people are saying that's just a financial mistake. Like, you shouldn't do that, because women pro basketball players make at the top end $70,000 a year. Caitlin Clark's making like $910,000 in NIL money this year with her different brands, and that would only expand next year if she were to stay for an extra season. And the visibility she's getting at Iowa right now is unprecedented. Like, more people are watching this than will ever watch a WNBA game.
I would imagine the WNBA breaks her off a big fat check for signing. Oh, look at the hole up hit watch, everybody.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we got to.
You can see some feathers here poking out of a hole at the big.
So, okay, late Big Bear.
Yeah.
Number 3.
We go live now to the Eagle Nest Cam. The Eagle stood up, and whoever is at the controls, they're not asleep. They are wide awake and watching, because they got us a tight zoom on 3 eagle eggs, one with a noticeable hole, Travis.
That is correct. That is correct. I don't see any movement there, so no beak poking through. But there are some definite feathers coming out of that little hole.
Yeah.
Is mom gonna like poke a hole?
No, I don't know. Mom just sat back down,
settling in.
cold there. Okay, so Pip Watch continues up in
what's
Big
happening
Bear.
right now?
She's making sure it's warm and dry there. Why's it got to be something dirty every time with you, Fletch?
No. Yeah, that eagle, just adjusting. Yeah, everyone's I mean, like you try to sit on 3 eggs for I don't know months on end, however long this has been.
Okay, a little fix of the nest again.
This is excellent.
Got to get warmed up. So a lot happening up in Big Bear. We will keep you posted.
We promise.
Yeah, we promise. We still have some of these tickets to give away for the Outlaw Music Festival. Outlaw Music.
Right.
You're done tooting. So if you're interested in sucking on a chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze, John Mellencamp will be there. Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson. It's gonna be a hoot.
Oh, it's gonna be a hoedown and a hootenanny. Looking forward to giving away those tickets. So keep listening for those. Also coming up next, they're making changes to the start and the finish. We're gonna ask you what you're more in favor of on the other side. But before we get to anything.
I'm in favor of the finish.
I'm telling you right now. I love the hat, but from the hat down, I'm loving it even more. Yeah, you have completely transformed.
You know what? I feel good. Yeah. I feel real good, and that's all thanks to SD Fat Loss.
I knew it.
Yeah. Look, honestly, if we're being honest here, and I'm being honest, I do feel so much better. I mean, you drop some of these unwanted pounds, all of a sudden life gets easier. You can move around a little bit better. Yeah. I'm sleeping better. I'm thinking about, actually, never mind.
Brand new senior vice president of programming, Taylor Jukes. Like one of the first things she said to our show in total, she was like, God, Travis just moves around so good.
She did say that. I also thought, thank God she didn't see me 4 or 5 months ago. Because I was a mess. But look, SD Fat Loss, you want to lose weight and you want to lose weight fast, you go to sdfatloss.com. They are going to take care of you there. And by the way, they're offering a money-back guarantee. So if you don't lose any weight in the first 10 days, they're going to give you your money back. Now, look, why would a company do this? Because they know it works. Look, they don't want to give you your money back, so they know it works. They know you're going to lose weight. And I promise you, you will, and you're going to lose it quick, man. 31 pounds in 8 weeks for myself. Rich was over 35. Ben Fletcher, man, he's pushing 50 pounds lost on this thing. And what you don't want to do is one of these fad diets where you lose a bunch of weight, but as soon as you stop whatever the fat is, you gain it all right back. And then some. Look, I've done it before. They call that yo-yo diet, and you want to stay away from it. Stay away from the prescription medication diets. All they do is stop working as soon as you stop whatever the prescription drug is. So do it the right way. Do it the healthy way. SDFatLoss.com. You're going to do it without exercise. You're going to do it without counting points or calories or eating something you don't want to eat. You're going to eat food you love. You're going to change your life. You're going to change your lifestyle. And then most importantly, you're going to keep that weight off. SDFatLoss.com. That's where you got to go. SDFatLoss.com. Coming up, some big changes in the NFL. We'll explain next. Like Rich said, some people are going to love the start. Others are going to love the finish. Big changes in the NFL coming up next.
This episode presented by the Jim Patrol Real Estate Team. Starting off with the Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. hit his first homer of the spring. Check that box. College Hoops, Aztecs had the weekend off. They enter the final week of the regular season, tied for third in the Mountain West. They got UNLV tomorrow on the road, Boise State Friday at home for senior night. Sticking with College Hoops, Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark has passed Pistol Pete Maravich as the all-time Division I scoring leader, men's or women's. And in the NBA, Celtics get their third 50-point win of the year. They smashed the Warriors 140-88. Bucks make a move. They're keeping Mike Evans in Tampa for the remainder of his career. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch giving away some, what is it called?
Tickets.
What?
Tickets.
Oh, tickets, yeah. That kind of rhymes. Outlaw Music Festival, July 29th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and a whole lot more. Tickets and info at livenation.com. Keep listening this segment, because if we don't forget, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah,
So,
you said it, brother.
Yeah, so you want to keep it dialed. Out in the NFL, some more changes being tossed around.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like them all.
The kickoff rule is interesting. So they're trying to make kickoffs in general, whether they're onside kicks or regular kickoffs after scoring plays, more safe. So they're trying to ban the days of athletes bombing down the field, running into a 3 or 4 man wedge, and create a safer environment, because a lot of people were injured on plays like that.
You know, the cool plays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you know what? Actually, I was talking about this with a buddy, and I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, I kind of miss it. Even though I didn't love it as a kick return blocker, I was like Operation Human Shield in high school and college, the early part of my pro career.
Right.
I was one of those guys on the wedge, while the wedge busters, these kickoff players who were just designated torpedoes, came down the field and were just trying to light you up. It sucked, But at the same time, sometimes you would like absolutely demolish one of these fools, and it was one of the coolest things you could do on a football field.
Head-to-head contact is like awesome parts of the NFL, but I get why it changes. So in the NFL this year, there weren't a whole lot of kickoff returns, right? So why are they tweaking that again? Because it felt like what they did worked.
Well, they don't want the contact, but they do want kickoff returns.
Exactly. That's the part of it that didn't work. They still want the return.
Yeah. So the XFL this past season introduced a model where the kicking team kicks from the 30-yard line while the rest of the kickoff team begins at the opposing 35-yard line. So on opposite sides of the 50-yard line, right? And so the reason why they do this is because now you give the kicking team an advantage getting down the field faster, but also you give the return team less room to be damaged by like a guy running basically of a 4.3 40 and crashing into you, because the return team has to be towing the line at their own 30-yard line. So the kicking team and the return team, basically outside of the two returners who are deep, are within 5 yards of each other. So this sets up an opportunity for blockers to actually run plays and almost like, pull and maybe create a short alley on one side of the field. And since you're actually backing up the kicker, you'll have more returnable footballs. You have less hard contact. It worked in the XFL. So the NFL is seriously considering maybe changing to this format.
Well, and they're also looking at it as, okay, so if the ball goes into the end zone or through the back of the end zone, then the opposing team would start at the 35. However, to prevent the opposing team just letting the ball roll to the end zone, so they start at the 35. If the ball falls in the designated sweet spot or the zone, I forgot what they called it, the target zone, it then rolls into the end zone. The opposing team would start at the 20.
Yeah.
So they want them to pick up the ball.
Yeah, exactly correct. Right. Now, the NFL allowed, fair catches to be caught anywhere on a kickoff. It didn't have to be, in the end zone any longer, any of that stuff. Like, so there's a couple of different rules now that have made it safer, but they do miss the return game. So I think this is a change for that. Here's the one I don't really like.
This is dumb.
So the NFL is considering a new kickoff rule from this standpoint. Teams can only attempt one onside kick when trailing in the fourth quarter, only once, and they have to announce their attempts in advance.
Lame.
It almost feels like they're trying to just completely rule out onside kicking from ever happening.
Why?
That's what this is. The success rate on onside kicks was negligible, to say the least, last season.
5.6%.
Right, so it's already almost impossible to do it.
I'm sorry, it was 5.6% of the attempted onside kicks. So think about how many kickoffs there were. I mean, it's hardly any that actually work.
What's so weird is like the sentence that follows all this, the changes are intended to increase returns. This has to be attached to the other rule changes we're talking about, because the other rule changes will increase returns. This is going to decrease returns. This is actually going to stop teams from trying onside kicks.
Now, a couple of years ago, the Saints had a game, if you remember. I don't remember the exact what was happening in the game, but they were down multiple scores, and they converted multiple onside kicks and were able to come back. And I think the Saints may have even still lost it, but they were able to get back in the game, made for one of the most exciting regular season games ever. Now with this, there's just going to be 21-point games heading into the fourth quarter that you just know are already over because there's simply not enough time. And if you can't get the onside kick, then you can't fight your way back into the game. So you're going to see people load manage. That's where my head went to. Like, all of a sudden, second halves are going to become less important.
And how is Sean Payton going to start off the season?
Exactly. Here's the interesting about this. Okay, so I went back to the original article and I'm reading the line that follows the talk about how both these rule changes, if approved, will raise both the frequency and success rate of onside kicks, but I don't really understand how. I just don't. I don't think any of this really works. Although it says, okay, so another rule would be that the potentiality could be allowed to utilize an unbalanced 6-4 formation to raise the odds of recovery. So what you would see is 4 players on one side of the kicker, 6 players to the side of the return, or the presumed return for the onside kick. But again, announcing the onside kick, doesn't that do the exact opposite?
Yeah, what they should do, that's dumb. If they want to let this be, you get one shot a game, it should be at any point that you want to use it.
Yeah.
And it should be let your players be on the other side of the ball.
I hope this doesn't leak into Madden, because there's ways that you can figure out in Madden how to like be really good at onside kicking it. And especially if you're playing online and the other dude doesn't know that you're doing it, it's hard for them to have to burn a timeout to switch their coverages if they don't know the exact shortcut. So Madden onside kicks are so valuable. I only haven't won a game. That seems lame.
Maybe that's why
Very
they're
important.
changing the rule in the NFL so that Madden players can stop cheating.
Yeah.
It's not cheating. It's part of the game.
It's all about selling more copies of Madden.
yeah. We're experiencing a lot of like the video game nerd sector of our fan base really upset about the fact that we're not announcing onside kicks. It's really frustrating for them.
That's lame. I mean, that's dumb. That takes away from the whole point of it to me.
If it does feel a little bit like, for example, there are certain things about baseball, and I understand that they're like, I don't know, like there's certain aspects of baseball, like, a batter can call time, you know what I mean, and can signal his own time. And I get it. Like if a bug flies in your eye, you can put yourself in danger if you can't see the ball. But like, all of a sudden a pitcher gets all pissed off if it happens too many times. Like there are certain things, but it almost feels like they're procedural, but they must happen. In this one, you didn't need a procedure for this, in my opinion. I don't really understand why.
Excuse me, Mr. Reed, Coach Reed, can you see me over here on this sideline? I'm just letting you know we're doing an onside kick.
We are throwing the football this time.
Right, right. And then
we're throwing it to Travis Kelce. Yes,
the big one with the beard.
Taylor's boyfriend. We're throwing it to him.
Right. And how livid would people be if there's an onside kick that's attempted, it works, and then nope, flag on the field. They didn't say that they were going to do an onside kick.
It'd be like hitting a home run in baseball after getting called for you were waiting in the batter's box for too long.
Right.
It's gonna happen. This is gonna happen. And Angel Hernandez was the umpire. There's no question. All right.
Love sports.
Hashtag sports.
Hashtag sports. All right. How about this? This is sports adjacent, which we are all about here. We have a giveaway, very special one. Outlaw Music Festival. Woo! John Mellencamp is going to be out there sucking down chili dog. Saturday's free. Him and Bob Dylan.
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson's going to be
taking all the
there.
rope in Texas, finding a tall oak tree, hanging up all them bad boys hanging by the street.
Wow. How did Willie Nelson outlive Toby Keith?
That's sad.
Dude, that makes zero sense. Willie Nelson will outlive us all.
Right.
With him with those pigtails. All right, so listen, if you want to go to the Outlaw Music Festival this summer, all you got to do is call 877-767 SORG 760. I did that all wrong. You go for it.
877 SORG 760. You know what's funny is when you do it and mess it up, I'm like, how? And then I read it and still mess it up. 877-767-4760. 877 SORG 760. 877 Popism 0. Any of those combinations, as long as you get that in order.
We are dialed in, Chief, and so are you. Dialing at exactly 8:45 is when you should call, and you are going to win yourself those tickets to see Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, and others.
Bob Dylan. I'm going to be there. Bottom Barrel coming up next. Big Red Team.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Huge update to come in just moments. San Diego Sports 760. We have been on Lake Big Bear Eagle Watch for days, weeks, really. Jackie and Shadow sharing responsibility, nesting with the eggs.
That's right.
We have
That's right.
one tiny little crack in one of these eggs. There's an eaglet about to be hatched. We don't know if today.
I believe they call that crack the pip.
The pip. The pip has happened. So we're waiting for a pip in the other eggs. Right now, it's Jackie nesting with the eggs.
Right. Each egg was laid like one day apart.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I reached out to Prize Picks to see if I could get a stat projection on when these eaglets are going to hatch. Haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
We should try to
keep
reach out to the Big Bear Eagle Cam people and have them on.
We should probably do that.
Honestly, a little surprised you haven't already.
I feel like I dropped the ball.
It
on
feels
this.
like a TV special.
Look for that tomorrow.
I'll tell you what I'm
tomorrow.
looking for is the picture of Salma Hayek's nipple, apparently.
Yeah. I watched it. It's lame, dude. It's blurred out.
She
And
blurred
she
it.
blurred it out.
Yeah, but you know what? She decided it was there. She didn't say I need to redo this video.
I didn't realize that. Okay, let me
Look,
see.
so
now.
she posted this video of her hair and makeup getting done, and while she's getting it done with her robe on, all of a sudden, whoop. Yeah, and then so she decided I'm going to put a little blur on that, and I'll post it anyways.
Yeah, the censor bar was unneeded.
No,
I mean, honestly, when I have a wardrobe malfunction, I just let it hang out.
right, right. By the way, she does it. I mean, like there's multiple times where it slips out. She's doing this on purpose.
I'm going to start sending in an application to be hair and makeup for Salma Hayek. It sounds like. So yeah, I just got to spend all my time directly in front of you. I know you have
or just right off to the side, just slightly off to the side.
I picture her just being like, yeah, like he's great, but he never touches the back of my head. Like the hair, it's just a rat's nest back there. He's really good with bangs, though.
Right. By the way, did you guys see this storm that's rolling up north here in California?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me we're not getting more rain.
Well, we are getting more rain. That I think it's supposed to rain Wednesday here. The last time I looked, but up north, it is dumping
snow.
I mean, just tons of snow, and they had wind gusts that were almost 200 miles per hour.
I saw Tahoe got hit hard.
Yeah, Tahoe,
Like they had
Mammoth.
to close down ski resorts in Tahoe this last weekend because they got too much snow.
There's just trucks that are lining the I-5 because it's there's so much snow on the ground. They just pulled over. They can't do anything. Sit and wait. It's crazy.
Tish Cyrus, do you remember who that is?
That would be Miley's mom.
So she had an admission recently. She said, I would have been a much better mom if I would have just started smoking weed earlier. Okay, so all right. At first blush, this headline makes you go, "Oh, wow,
Click.
that is not great. That's not a great thing."
Right.
But okay, all right. So look, all drugs derive from plants, or not all, but most, right? And we know that there is a medicinal usage for marijuana. Some people actually self-medicate to help them with anxiety. Maybe she was like high strung and she realized after a couple of hits from the old skunk weed,
I know for a fact
she's more tolerable.
There are people in my life whose lives have been saved by smoking weed.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Like I know for a fact that anxiety has been cured from one of my buddies who I went to like grade school with. Like he was having a real tough time of it in college, and now post college career, post everything has become better. And he attributes it all to starting smoking weed.
So there's two sides to every coin, because like I feel like alcohol is a great social lubricant. I was just at this great party Saturday night, for example. It was a blast. And it was because everybody was responsibly drinking and having a good time talking to each other. Got to talk to a lot of people that I don't normally even talk to because, look, while I can be as extroverted as I want, if you're talking to somebody who doesn't want to talk, like, you don't get much out of them. But once you introduce a little bit of the alcohol, people start to loosen up. Same thing with weed for certain people, but there is overdoing it. I remember actually one of my buddies, same thing, like sort of found it later in life. Buddy went off the deep end.
There's two sides.
Like he started blaming people. He started blaming people for like sleeping with his aunt. It was a bad scene for a little while.
Well, did you?
Like, I know you did. We're like, no, dude, we don't even know her. Yeah.
There's a
but did you?
No, I swear.
What?
I swear. I'll tell you later. I'm kidding.
There's a woman out in South Carolina. Her name is Lauren Montefusco. She's 22 years old. Apparently, she's allergic to water.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So she's unable to shower.
Wait a second. Whoa. So what does she drink?
Okay, so that's what I thought too. Like you're only allergic to it on your skin if it touches your skin? Because I don't know what happens on the inside if you drink it.
Hydrophobic?
It's aquagenic. It's like Bob Dylan royalty free.
Xenophobia.
No, the dogs. No, chili dog.
We got 30 seconds left. Use it wisely.
All right.
Aquagenic urticaria.
I hate it.
But yeah, I'm just thinking she probably don't smell real good, but I think she could excel on Survivor.
You can dry shower.
Little baby powder, maybe.
Thank you to the Eagles. Hopefully something happens between now. Actually, now save it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I do want to be a part of it live. Thank you to the Texties, the Rotaries, the Dogs, the Hangers, the Bangers. Thank you to Big Rich. Thank you to TD. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Did it. The Herd. Coming up next, you're gonna suck down the chili dog on Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah. We're doing the chili dog.
San Diego.